Chapter 44:17. Not long after, Lin Fei saw an acquaintance. It was the Blood Dragon General. As soon as the Blood Dragon General came up, he saw Lin Fei. His eyes became a little sharp. Next to the Blood Dragon General, there was a middle-aged man who also looked over. Lin Fei wasn't afraid. After all, he had already gotten the Tongtian Divine Sword and refined it. With the Tongtian Divine Sword, as long as he wasn't wearing the Dongshu armor, he could directly break the opponent's defense with the Dongshu weapon in his hand. No one could stop him. What's more, Lin Fei was a master of close combat, and ordinary people couldn't resist him. So Lin Fei didn't care about the arrival of the Blood Dragon General. So what if he was a nascent soul realm powerhouse? Lin Fei's lips curled into a smile. After the Blood Dragon General came up, he saw that Palace Master Yuan Mo seemed to know the Blood Dragon General, and actually walked towards him. After the two of them muttered something, the look in the Blood Dragon General's eyes became a little different. In the end, the Blood Dragon General didn't come up, but sat down in a place casually. After all, the Blood Dragon General was also a powerhouse and knew these nascent soul realm masters. That Palace Master Yuan Mo was actually following him. Seeing this scene, Lin Fei knew that he had a headache. After all, he had just fooled the Blood Dragon General, but it didn't matter. As long as he didn't know his origin, the Blood Dragon General wouldn't do anything to him. After all, not everyone dared to offend a master at the peak of the Golden Core realm. Right now, Lin Fei was most concerned about what would happen in this place. After waiting here for a little while, the scene became quiet. Because no one came up again, even the ghost warlord didn't appear. Lin Fei knew that a wonderful scene was about to appear. Clatter! Just when Lin Fei was wondering what would appear. In this empty place, a stream of light actually flew out. There was a treasure hidden in this stream of light. For a while, everyone present was a little excited. The Yuanying realm experts did not make a move, but the Jidan realm experts directly rushed out. It was as if he was going to snatch away the thing inside the stream of light. For a moment, it became quite lively, and the competition was very intense. Lin Fei did not make a move. However, it could be seen that this should be one of the benefits of the ancient tomb. Only by exterminating these spectral battle generals would one have the chance to obtain such benefits. Of course, in Lin Fei's opinion, as long as these treasures were not refined by the heavenly tree, they would not be of much use to him. If it was an insightful void weapon, it would be fine. However, he already had the heavenly divine sword. Therefore, he would not be interested in ordinary insight void weapons. Of course, it would be even better if he could obtain a hollowness armor. This was because he had just observed that Golden Core realm experts did not have hollowness armor at all. Only nascent soul realm experts did. For example, the Blood Dragon General. The defense of his insightful void armor was extremely strong. Although Lin Fei's sword intent was strong, it was difficult to break it in a short time. Of course, this was also because Lin Fei's sword intent was strong. Otherwise, why would the Blood Dragon General pay so much attention to it? The competition was very intense. Not long after, the treasure was taken away by someone. Of course, that person also paid a huge price. However, seeing the excited look on that person's face, Lin Fei knew that this thing should be a good Dharma treasure. As for whether it was a defensive Dharma treasure or an offensive Dharma treasure, he did not know. But no matter what, he got a good thing. After that, some treasures appeared one after another. The interval between each event was quite long, but none of them piqued Lin Fei's interest. Therefore, Lin Fei did not make a move. It had been quiet all this time. This made many Golden Core realm experts secretly heave a sigh of relief. If this young man were to make a move, it would be a little troublesome. They would not be able to snatch it. The other party's swift sword was really lovable and hateful. Now that Lin Fei did not make a move, it was the best thing that could happen. Lin Fei did not make a move on 7 or 8 things in a row. Although it seemed to be very good, it still made Lin Fei look down on it. There was no point in making a move. However, when the 8th item came out, Lin Fei's pupils shrank slightly. He moved in an instant. When Lin Fei made his move, a few other Golden Core experts also made their moves. The thing they were fighting for. It was an armor. However, this armor was not the color of metal, but pure wood. It turned out that this was an armor made of heavenly wood. In other words, it was a wood attribute treasure. Therefore, after this item came out, many people came out to fight for it. After all, the heavenly wood was already amazing. If it was refined, it would have a great defensive power. There were really many people fighting for it. However, as soon as they came up, they saw a sword light directly sweeping over. The sword light was very thin, but when it swept across their bodies, they let out a groan and were sent flying. They couldn't even stand properly. They saw that Lin Fei, who had not made a move, actually made a move. The treasure fell into his hands in an instant. Looking at the frightening sword marks left on their bodies, they were all scared out of their wits. They knew that if that person had been ruthless, their heads would have been separated from their bodies by that sword strike. So they hurriedly retreated. It's this kid. What do you think of his swordsmanship? The Blood Dragon General was also paying attention this time. Naturally, he was not interested in these things. Although a treasure made of heavenly wood was good, it was a bit useless. He did not want to go against this kid. There was no point in doing so. This kid's sword intent is quite strong. It's actually the 5 elements sword intent, which is relatively rare. The speed of his sword is also very fast, much faster than theirs. Just now he showed mercy. Otherwise, these people would have been seriously injured and some of them would have died. The middle-aged man next to him laughed, and Palace Master Yuan Mo, who was standing behind, had a fierce look in his eyes. If he hadn't been injured and suffered a loss, he would have definitely gone out to fight with Lin Fei. Unfortunately, he could only watch now. Lin Fei originally thought that he could get this thing, but when he got it, a stream of light flickered over. With a flicker of light that contained a terrifying pressure, it turned into a ball of light and shot towards Lin Fan. "Young man, I like this armor. It can be used by my disciple. Please hand it over." It turned out that a nascent soul realm expert had made a move not far away. With a light flick, a terrifying and invincible force was released. The sword intent in front of Lin Fei rippled and spread around. "If I hand it over just because you ask me to, wouldn't I lose face?" Chapter 44:18. The nascent soul realm master was an old man with a deathly aura around him. In other words, he didn't have much lifespan left. At this moment, he looked at Lin Fei coldly. He was the one who attacked just now. "Brat, you actually dare to ignore this old man's words. It seems that you don't take this old man seriously." This inconspicuous old man was called Gao Mingde. He was a veteran nascent soul realm master, but his lifespan was almost up, so he naturally needed to leave some good things for his descendants. That was why he came to this tomb. Of course, he also hoped to find something in the tomb that could increase his lifespan. And this treasure armor made from heavenly wood was really not bad. Naturally, he wanted to grab it, but he didn't expect this kid to be so strong that he could block his power. This was relatively rare, and he was a little angry. He was a nascent soul realm powerhouse, and there was actually someone who didn't give him face. "If you want this thing in my hand, you have to grab it yourself. If you can grab it, it will naturally belong to you. If you can't, then I have nothing to say." After Lin Fei snorted coldly, he put away these things. He immediately let the tree of life absorb and refine them. There was nothing better than this. Gao Mingde flicked his finger, and a series of phantoms emerged, all condensing his power and directly attacking. It was fine if a nascent soul realm powerhouse attacked, but if he did it himself, it would be like bullying the weak. So he just used his power to deal with this golden core realm kid. Although it was a bit embarrassing to do this, he didn't have much lifespan left. The other nascent soul realm powerhouses would also close their eyes and not say much. Of course, this was the bottom line. If he did it himself, it would indeed be bullying the weak. The nascent soul realm powerhouses couldn't stand it anymore. At this moment, Palace Master Yuan Mo had a smile on his face. He finally saw that could offend a nascent soul realm powerhouse. If Gao Mingda, a nascent soul realm powerhouse, made a move, this kid would definitely suffer a big loss. On the contrary, the Blood Dragon General next to him wasn't very optimistic. After all, he couldn't even catch this kid, let alone Gao Mingda's strength. He was inferior to the Blood Dragon General in the first place, so he had no chance of winning against this kid, let alone a long-range attack. Gao Mingda's attack will most likely be ineffective, the Blood Dragon General said lightly. The young man beside him laughed. I can also see that this brat is very powerful. It seems that an incredible expert has appeared in the southern Cloud County. Lin Fei immediately displayed his swift sword and blocked these attacks. One sword followed another. It was faster and more ferocious than these attacks, breaking through the move in an instant. Your means are just SOSO. Why don't you come down and try it yourself? It just so happens that I also want to compete with a Yuanying stage master today. I learned a lot from the Blood Dragon General before. If I can get some more experience from you here, it would be great. Lin Fei held his sword horizontally and said with a faint smile. At this time, everyone looked at the Blood Dragon General. The Blood Dragon General forced a smile on his face. He didn't expect this kid to mention him. After all, the Blood Dragon General was also a Yuanying stage master, and his strength was also very strong. At the very least, Gao Mingda was naturally not his opponent. As soon as Gao Mingda heard this, he also looked back and naturally saw the slight change on the Blood Dragon General's face. Is this kid so strong? He always thought that this kid was only good at swordsmanship, but now it seemed that this was not the case. Did he really fight with the Blood Dragon General? If this was the case, then it was worth paying attention. After all, even the Blood Dragon General couldn't do anything to this kid. He definitely had a strong background. Gao Mingda's heart skipped a beat. Could it be that he met a young master who was out for training? This was the most troublesome thing, the Blood Dragon General said. Don't underestimate this young man. He is an expert at the peak of the Gold Core Realm. Old Gao, you failed this time. The Blood Dragon General was also very good at talking and directly pointed out the strength of Lin Fei. Peak of the Gold Core Realm. This made these people's eyes change on the spot, especially Palace Master Yuan Mo, who was a little stunned. He naturally knew the strength of the peak of the Gold Core Realm, but he didn't expect that this kid was actually at the peak of the Gold Core Realm. What a joke! There were only a few experts at the peak of the Gold Core Realm in Nanyan Prefecture, and he actually met one here, and it was his opponent and enemy. What should he do? How could he survive? No wonder he was not his opponent. The other Yuanying stage masters were also a little surprised. They finally understood why this kid dared to come here alone. It turned out that he was an expert at the peak of the Gold Core Realm. With this strength, would he be afraid of ordinary Gold Core Realm masters? Even ordinary early Yuanying stage masters probably couldn't take down this expert at the peak of the Gold Core Realm. If he took another step, he would be a Yuanying stage master. The important thing was that to be able to reach the peak of the Gold Core Realm at this age, he naturally had a huge background behind him. This was the most terrifying thing. In other words, there must be several Yuanying stage masters behind him, which was the most troublesome thing. This old man doesn't want this thing. Gao Mingda immediately said, his face showing a smile and helplessness. He really didn't dare to offend such a person. Although he didn't have much lifespan left, he had to think about his descendants. Once he was gone, his descendants would be completely finished. Lin Fei looked over and chuckled. Weren't you very enthusiastic just now? How about this? Since you've made a move against me, you'll have to pay a price no matter what. Let me pick a treasure of my choosing, and I'll let this matter rest. Otherwise, I'll have to tell them a few things when I return, so that I can ask you to teach me what it means to bully the weak." Gao Mingde's entire face changed, and the other Yuaning stage masters didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was really lifting a rock and smashing it on his own feet. To think that he could actually encounter such a thing. How could Gao Mingde really dare to make a move now? Although the other party said a few words lightly, he knew better than anyone else that if he were to make a move, Gao Mingde definitely wouldn't have a good ending. But to let the other party pick a treasure at will, he was a little reluctant. In the end, he gritted his teeth and swung his hand, throwing the storage ring over. "This is what you said, a treasure, and the matter will be settled. I have always been a man of my words, don't worry. Of course, the same goes for you, Palace Master Yuanemo. If I don't give it to you, you're dead." Lin Fei looked over, and his gaze fell on Palace Master Yuanemo. Chapter 44:19. Who didn't know that the Blood Dragon General never lied? Since the other party said so, it could prove one thing. The other party was at the peak of the Gold Core realm. However, no matter how they thought about it, they couldn't figure out where this person came from. Because this person was too strange. They had never seen him before. But the other party could stand there, and his swordsmanship was powerful. Even if they had never come into contact with it, they could still recognize the power of the sword intent. He even cultivated the 5 elements sword intent. This was not something that anyone could do. This was the only way to describe him. He's really a demonic genius. This was what moved them. Such a person had unlimited potential in the future. And at this time, after Palace Master Yuanemo was shouted at by Lin Fei, he felt a little uncomfortable. Seriously, he was really a little scared, although he was majestic in Nanyang Prefecture. That was because he had a backer, but how could he stop the backer behind this kid? The other party was truly powerful, at the peak of the Gold Core realm. Even a group of Gold Core experts would be able to stop the other party's massacre. You don't have to let me choose. In that case, I can only give you a sword strike. As long as you can withstand this sword strike of mine, I will naturally have nothing to say and will not attack you again. What do you think? Lin Fei looked over with a smile. I don't think the Blood Dragon General will plead for you. What do you think, Blood Dragon General? The Blood Dragon General laughed bitterly at this time. He felt that he was being used by the other party. The words peak of the Gold Core realm were quite powerful, especially when there was a big family behind it. This was the most terrifying thing. If it was a hermit family, that would be the most terrifying. Yuanemo, I advise you to let him choose something. It won't cause you any loss, the Blood Dragon General said faintly. When Palace Master Yuanemo heard this, he felt a little uncomfortable. He knew that if he wanted to make a choice, he would never be able to do it. After all, the other party had already targeted him. It was not up to him. Now he was very sullen, but there was no other way. This person was stronger than him. If he really fought alone, he would be far from being a match. He had already seen the strength of the other party just now. Gao Mingde's storage ring fell directly into Lin Fei's hand. Lin Fei glanced at him. He really couldn't tell that this guy had such a deep foundation. However, he was a man of his word and took away a treasure. It was a pity that he did not have the Heavenly Passage token, so he took the middle-grade spirit stones from the other party. It was 100 yuan. 100 middle-grade spirit stones. I'll let this matter rest. If you want to take action again, it won't be that easy. With a wave of Lin Fei's hand, the storage ring returned to Gao Mingde's hand. Gao Mingde put it back on. Although his heart was bleeding, he still had to show a grateful expression. You are already at the peak of the Gold Core realm. How would I dare to make a move? This old man admits his loss, Gao Mingde said. Lin Fei's gaze fell on Palace Master Yuanemo. What about you? You don't have much time. If you don't take it out, I'm going to make a move. After all, I think it's better to destroy you in this place, lest you cause trouble behind my back again. Palace Master Yuan Mo also knew that he had no choice but to hand over the thing. I'll give it, I'll give it. Palace Master Yuan Mo did not dare to resist. He directly threw the storage ring. Lin Fei chuckled and took it from him. He was really happy when he scanned it with his divine sense. This guy actually had a few heavenly passage tokens. Then, Lin Fei would not be polite. He casually took the token and threw it back from the ring. I didn't take anything from you. I just taught you a simple lesson. Next time it won't be so easy. Who asked me to be magnanimous? Lin Fei said lightly. Although Lin Fei did not say what he took, Palace Master Yuan Mo's heart sank. Just don't take away the good stuff. After checking it, he relaxed. The other party actually did not take anything. He only took a few heavenly passage tokens. It was indeed a lesson for him. He really came from a big family. His eyes were really different. He did not care about these things at all. Now, he could finally heave a sigh of relief. Young master, I will never offend you in the future. If there's anything you need, just say it. If I can help, my Palace Master Yuan Mo will definitely do it. Palace Master Yuan Mo suddenly changed his tone. This also surprised the surrounding people. Did this kid really not take anything? Otherwise, with Palace Master Yuan Mo's temper, he would have been like this long ago. Lin Fei continued to put on a show, and his heart was blooming with joy. It seemed that it was not bad to use the tiger skin, at least in everyone's eyes. He was a young master from a big family. This was not bad, so Lin Fei felt that he had to continue. You're lucky. If you met my brothers, they would have a bad temper. They would kill you without saying a word. I'm considered easy to talk to. Lin Fei turned around, sat on a rock, and closed his eyes to rest. How many brothers? This made everyone suck in a breath of cold air. They didn't expect that there would be a fierce person here. Everyone's thoughts directly disappeared without a trace. Even the Yuanying stage masters who were present paid attention to it. This kid really could not be offended. When Lin Fei closed his eyes to rest, he could feel that the tree of life was growing stronger and stronger. A lot of leaves grew. His physical injuries actually recovered a lot. Unfortunately, it was still too little, but it was a good start. For example, his physical body had improved a lot compared to before. Although it had not completely stepped into the nascent soul realm, it was not far away. Once it stepped into the nascent soul realm, he would naturally not be afraid of nascent soul realm experts, because none of the nascent soul experts present had a nascent soul realm physical body. It could be seen that such a physical body was too difficult. Of course, only people like Lin Fei could come up easily. So Lin Fei hoped that there would be some good things here. For example, something refined with the heavenly divine tree. Unfortunately, the things that appeared next were ordinary. None of them were good. The nascent soul experts didn't make a move at all until the last item fell. Lin Fei didn't make a move again, which made the people present secretly breathe a sigh of relief. Young man, I don't know your surname. Why don't we go together? The Blood Dragon General came over. Your strength and swordsmanship are outstanding, and you are qualified to go to the next floor with us. But they are not qualified. Lin Fei didn't expect the Blood Dragon General to come over and offer an invitation. Chapter 44:20. The Blood Dragon General took the initiative to invite him. It really surprised Lin Fei. Although he was only at the peak of the Jedon stage, it seemed that he was still a little weaker in front of these Yuanying stage masters. In particular, Lin Fei had fought with the Blood Dragon General. He even fooled him. He took the heavenly divine sword that was refined from the heavenly divine tree. If he knew about this, he would probably be very angry. After all, it was an insightful void weapon. How many Yuanying stage masters had insightful void weapons and insightful void treasure armor? It was already very good to have one of them. Senior Blood Dragon, I am very curious. Why did you come to invite me? After all, my strength is ordinary, and I have fought with you before. Lin Fei said. The Blood Dragon General waved his hand and set up a soundproof array. Young man, Your strength is already very strong. How many people can reach the peak of the Jiran stage? Besides, we really need your powerful swordsmanship on the next few floors. I just don't know if you are interested. After all, I still know the next few floors. Lin Fei really didn't know much about the next few floors. His trip here was precisely for the item refined by the heavenly connection wood. Now that he had gained some, at least it had improved his strength a lot. It would be best if he could go down there. He furrowed his brows slightly. Are you sure you're not trying to trick me? After all, I am a relatively timid person. Lin Fei smiled. The Blood Dragon General was a little speechless. Even a Yuanying stage powerhouse was scared by you, let alone others. How would they dare to do this? Young man, you think too much. With your background, I wouldn't dare to do anything to you, even if I had the guts. After all, you are at the peak of the Gold Core realm. What do you think? The Blood Dragon General said. Lin Fei laughed. Actually, I was just joking. After all, I am proud to be invited by Yuanying stage powerhouse. However, since we are working together, let's make an oath first so that we don't stab each other in the back. What do you think? The Blood Dragon General increasingly felt that this young man must be knowledgeable. He even knew about this oath. So he laughed. Even if you didn't remind me, I would have told you anyway. He took out a yellow talisman and said, This is an oath talisman. As long as we drip our blood on it, the talisman will come true. At that time, if anyone dares to stab us in the back, this talisman will fight back. A talisman like this is not cheap. It's worth 10 million middle-grade spirit stones. After taking out the talisman, Lin Fei felt a mysterious aura coming from it. The Blood Dragon General was the first to drip his blood. It was instantly absorbed by the talisman. The tall middle-aged man next to him also dripped a drop of blood. I'm Lu Bai. Lin Fei was also observing. There were no traps, so he also dripped a drop of blood. Somehow he felt that the world seemed to have some kind of restriction on him. He felt that it was a bit unbelievable, but he still pretended to be expressionless. His surname is Lin, and his name is Lin Fei. When the Blood Dragon General and Lu Bai heard this name, they looked at each other and searched for it immediately. They didn't find anything at all. This made them a little surprised. Was it really a hermit family? Otherwise, how could they not know about it? In any case, they were on the same side. How could Lin Fei not guess what they were thinking? They were guessing his identity. He came up from the bottom, so he was naturally not afraid that they would guess wrong. Even if they guessed for 3 to 5 years, they wouldn't be able to guess his origin. Maybe it was time. Seeing that there was nothing to gain, the two stopped searching. In any case, they paid a lot more attention to Lin Fei. Let's go to the next floor. There are no good things on this floor. But to get to the next floor, we need the ghost heart of the ghost general that we just killed. Lin Fei suddenly understood. It turned out that this was the function of the ghost heart. At this time, the nascent soul realm masters were all rushing in one direction. Obviously, they were going to enter the next floor. Sure enough, in a place not far away, a portal appeared, but this portal was a little different. One must put in enough ghost hearts to enter the next floor. Those nascent soul realm masters naturally had enough ghost hearts, but for the Golden Core realm masters, they could only watch helplessly. They didn't have enough ghost hearts to enter the next floor. Everyone knew that the ghost generals just now were difficult to deal with, and there were very few who could kill them as easily as Lin Fei did. Lin Fei secretly rejoiced that he didn't absorb and digest these ghost hearts. If he really absorbed and refined them, he would be no different from those Golden Core realm masters at this moment. He could only watch helplessly and missed a great opportunity. After handing over these ghost hearts, Lin Fei really entered the next floor. This next floor was very different from the previous one. There weren't many people here. There were only a few nascent soul realm masters present. Of course, Lin Fei was an exception. After all, a master at the peak of the Golden Core realm still made them care. The Blood Dragon General and Liu Bai stood next to Lin Fei. He spoke in a low voice. We have to be careful on this floor. I heard that there are no ghost generals on this floor, but there are puppet warriors left by the ancient Xian realm master. They are very strong, and only by defeating these puppet warriors can we get an opportunity. Lin Fei didn't know where they got the news. At present, it was still good to know some news in advance. Puppet warriors? I'm best at dealing with them. If there really is one, I will try my best to contain the puppet warriors. Lin Fei was quite good at dealing with puppet warriors. The Blood Dragon General and Liu Bai both laughed. This was the reason why they had pulled Lin Fei in. After all, Lin Fei's swordsmanship was outstanding, and he was most suitable for containing them. It would be great if Lin Fei still had some hidden cards up his sleeve. Not long after he said that, black whirlwinds appeared one after another. No one knew where the whirlwind came from, but there was a trace of heart-palpitating aura in the whirlwind. The Blood Dragon General whispered, "The puppet warriors are coming. As far as I know, we must kill the puppet warriors to get the clue to enter the next floor." A whirlwind also appeared near where they lived. A black figure rushed out of the whirlwind. Like a stream of light, it instantly attacked in front of the Blood Dragon General. The Blood Dragon General shouted, "Go to hell!" The war hammer smashed out. A huge hammer shadow directly blasted down. The black stream of light twisted its body and dodged in an instant, not confronting the Blood Dragon General at all. Chapter 44:21. The movement of the black puppet warrior instantly showed its terrifying strength. Both the Blood Dragon General and Liu Bai had obvious changes in their eyes. Even Lin Fei felt that the black puppet was different. Be careful of this puppet warrior, it should be best at speed. From the moment the Blood Dragon General fought with the puppet warrior, he found that this puppet warrior was different. Its speed was as fast as a loach, and it was impossible to guard against it. For example, the Blood Dragon General attacked once, but the black puppet warrior had already attacked 5 times. That was the difference. Therefore, he felt a lot of pressure, and the opponent was also very strong. The Blood Dragon General and the others fought against the black puppet warriors. The nascent soul realm masters in the distance began to attack. In addition, there were also those golden core realm masters who were more unlucky. In an instant, he was killed by these black puppet warriors, and his head was separated from his body. They probably didn't expect to encounter such a powerful black puppet warrior on this level. Their strength had already reached the nascent soul realm. I will restrain the puppet warrior. Lin Fei was a little surprised, but he quickly adapted. The sword intent turned into silk and directly wrapped around the puppet warrior. It was still effective. Every time Lin Fei attacked, he could drive a trace of sword silk to wrap around the body of the black puppet warrior. This was a small shortcut. The sword silk, formed by the combination of Yi Xiaolong's 5-element sword intent, was very strong, so the black puppet warrior couldn't break it at all. After a long time, the speed of the black puppet warrior slowed down. The Blood Dragon General and Liu Bai both breathed a sigh of relief. They all knew that there were puppet warriors on this floor, but they didn't expect that they had the same strength as them. If it was a one-on-one fight, unless they had an absolute advantage, they would definitely not be their opponents. This time they were even more afraid of the ancient Xian expert. Even after death, he left behind such a powerful move. Bang, 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 bang. The Blood Dragon General grabbed the warhammer, and every time he smashed it, the puppet warrior would retreat. The advantage of the puppet warrior was its speed. Now, it had completely disappeared. Working together, they killed the puppet warrior in less than an incense stick's time. When the puppet warrior was killed, something appeared. Something dropped. The 3 of them looked at each other in dismay, unable to react in time. Little Lin, you've done a great job. If you hadn't slowed him down, we wouldn't have been able to kill him so easily. There were a total of 2 items, a secret technique, and a bottle of pills. Some time ago, I was wondering what kind of things could be dropped here. Now it seems that there are more things here than I thought. I can get good things by killing the puppet warriors. The blood dragon general picked up the secret method and the elixir. First, he took a look at it. Then he passed it to Lu Bai, then to Lin Fei. Lin Fei did not have much interest in elixirs, but this secret technique was a movement technique that focused on speed. Medicinal pills could allow a Yuanying stage powerhouse to instantly recover. Of course, Lin Fei had a certain interest in this speed-type movement technique. Little Lin, you've contributed the most this time. You can choose first. Lu Bai also said the three of us can choose in order. The first one will be you, little Lin. After all, you've contributed a lot. Lin Fei was not polite. Then I'll take this secret method. I still like speed-type secret methods. As for the bottle of pills, the three of them divided it together. Although Lin Fei was not a Yuanying stage master, he was also at the peak of the gold core stage. This pill could also instantly recover the consumption of the body. Both the Blood Dragon General and Lu Bai were very clear. It was still very useful to pull Lin Fei along. For example, killing the puppet warrior just now gave them a benefit. Otherwise, they would have to spend quite a bit of time on it. Looking at the Yuanying stage powerhouses not far away, they couldn't do anything to these puppet warriors. They could only deal with them slowly. Then it seems that we can continue to look for these puppet warriors. The corners of Lin Fei's mouth curled up slightly as he stared at the puppet warrior that had appeared again. I guess this is a small benefit left to us by the ancient Xian powerhouses. The three of them stared at the puppet warriors at the same time. Just like before, Lin Fei first entangled the puppet warrior with the sword silk. The Blood Dragon General attacked as the main force, while Lu Bai assisted on the side. It became a lot easier for the three of them to kill the puppet warriors. Of course, this also made the Yuanying stage powerhouses in the distance a little jealous. They had just killed a puppet warrior, and the other party had already started to kill the third puppet warrior. This comparison was really infuriating. They all regretted not roping in Lin Fei as soon as possible. Because Lin Fei's sword silk was formed by the 5-element sword intent, it was extremely tough. It had a unique advantage when used to entangle the puppet warriors. They all wanted to slap themselves. They didn't see such a good advantage and missed it. Now it was the Blood Dragon General and Lu Bai's turn. Lin Fei also began to like this level, and he liked these puppet warriors even more. He didn't expect that there would be so many benefits from killing this puppet warrior. There were all kinds of things that kept popping out. The Blood Dragon General and Lu Bai also cooperated more and more. They were also very excited about the things that popped out. This was something that could interest the Yuanying stage powerhouses like them. For example, there were several secret techniques that popped out. It was helpful to them to a certain extent. This was definitely left by the ancient Xian powerhouses. It was just that they didn't know why they were hiding in the puppet warriors. If they hadn't destroyed the puppet warriors, they wouldn't have known. The biggest contributor here was Lin Fei. The 5 elements sword intent had reached its peak. Therefore, the speed at which they killed the puppet warriors became more and more advantageous. When they killed the 10 puppet warriors, they were stunned. The Yuanying stage powerhouses on the other side had only killed 2 or 3. Their eyes were all red, but there was no way. It seemed that if they didn't kill the puppet warriors in front of them, there would be no new puppet warriors. So they had some headaches. The big benefits were all taken by these 3 people. After killing 10 puppet warriors, Yi Shiwen's eyes widened. The Blood Dragon General and the other 2 all stopped. It seems that we can enter the next level. It turned out that after killing this puppet warrior, a pass actually appeared. There was a mysterious aura on this pass. Shi Changsheng and the other 2 of the Jingang sect were all knowledgeable people. At a glance, they could see that they could enter the next level. Chapter 44:22. The 3 of them had already gained a lot of things from the puppet warriors they had killed. so there was no hesitation at all to enter the next floor. After activating the pass, they saw the door appear. Protecting the three of them, they disappeared directly from this place. The nascent soul realm powerhouses who were still fighting with the puppet warriors were a little stunned. Did they pass just like that? Did they have to be so fast? The Blood Dragon General and the others are actually the first batch to go in. Poor me. When will I be able to get my pass? I can't hold it anymore. I can't hold it anymore. These puppet warriors are too difficult to deal with. It's all that Golden Core Realm Kid's fault. If it weren't for him, how could the Blood Dragon General and the others enter the next floor so easily? At this time, many nascent Soul Realm powerhouses were envious and jealous. Of course, there was no lack of complaints. The person who complained was, of course, the Golden Core Realm Kid. If it weren't for the Golden Core Realm Kid, how could they encounter such a thing? As a result, they were originally standing on the same starting line, but now there was a difference. I think we'd better join forces and besiege these puppet warriors together, otherwise we will all fall behind the Blood Dragon General and the others. After being reminded by the nascent soul realm powerhouses, everyone thought about it and agreed. If they were to fall behind, they wouldn't be able to get any benefits. So these nascent soul realm powerhouses joined forces to attack. Although the pressure was great, everyone joined forces to deal with this puppet warrior. At the same time, the Blood Dragon General and the other two instantly appeared on the next floor. This next floor was a little different. They actually appeared in a palace. The important thing was that in this palace, there were rows of wooden shelves. There were a lot of ancient books on the wooden shelves. It was full of an ancient aura. After a brief shock, the three of them began to search. After all, they wanted to see what good things were on this floor. However, after searching for a while, the three of them were a little dumbfounded. Even Lin Fei was the same. I just looked at the ancient books here. They are very ordinary, not any secret techniques. This was what shocked them the most. You should have a better understanding of this place. Can you tell me what this place is? Lin Fei asked. The Blood Dragon General also shook his head with a wry smile. I can't do anything about it. This place is completely different from the information. It's weird that these ordinary ancient books are not cultivation methods. Lu Bai also said, it is indeed a bit strange. It is impossible for there to be nothing good. But these ancient books have been around for a long time. Maybe they have some special uses. The three of them circled around again. Unfortunately, he didn't find anything. The palace was not small. Other than the rows of wooden shelves, there were also these ancient books. However, he couldn't see any difference in these ancient books. Lin Fei also checked it several times, but he really couldn't find anything. Naturally, he knew that this should be another arrangement left behind by the ancient, profound expert. I think we should just wait. We probably don't have enough people. Lin Fei laughed and found a place to sit down. The Blood Dragon General nodded. That's the only way now. Lin Fei took out the secret technique from before. It was just the right time for him to practice this speed-type body technique. Lin Fei hadn't been in the spiritual world for long, but he also knew one thing. In terms of strength, there were many different types. For example, these puppet warriors were indeed very strong. However, they were even stronger in terms of speed. When speed was combined with strength, it formed an absolute advantage. Lin Fei himself practiced the life-taking sword. Although it was only at the first level and could burst out 10 times the speed, it was still a long way off. Now that he had a secret technique, it was a speed-type one. Naturally, it would be helpful to Lin Fei. Although Lin Fei had many speed-type body techniques, they were all more profound and he couldn't practice them at this time. But now this movement technique was different. This body technique was called Gale Body Technique. It was a very common name. However, Lin Fei had seen this speed before. If he didn't rely on the 5 elements sword silk to suppress the speed of the puppet warrior, it wouldn't be so easy to deal with it. If Lin Fei had this Gale Body Technique, coupled with the life-taking sword, his speed would naturally be faster. His strength would also grow a lot. Hence, Lin Fei took advantage of this time to practice. Gale body technique was a little different from ordinary body techniques. It required physical strength. It was somewhat similar to the life-taking sword. The cultivation technique was also much simpler than he had imagined. After reading it, Lin Fei knew that it was very easy to completely refine this Gale body technique. Gale body technique had a total of 3 levels. With his current physical body, he could definitely cultivate to the 3rd level. After reaching the 3rd level, his speed would probably be the same as the life-taking sword. It was a perfect match. Lin Fei began to comprehend it. Gale body technique, level 1. 2nd level. 3rd level. Less than an hour had passed. Lin Fei completely comprehended it. Although he didn't use it, he had already mastered it. Given Lin Fei's physical body, he would be able to cultivate any kind of movement technique. After Lin Fei comprehended the Gale body technique, someone came in from outside. It was really the nascent soul realm powerhouse from before. At this time, they were a little surprised to see the Blood Dragon General. After all, they thought that the Blood Dragon General had taken advantage of them first. Ha 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 ha, it seems that you are suffering here. The one who spoke was a big nascent soul realm powerhouse. He was considered relatively strong. This big guy was called Su Yuan. Su Yuan was the most envious of these nascent soul realm powerhouses. He was especially displeased with this golden core kid. Of course, this displeasure was shown on his face. Although the other party's origin was a bit mysterious, it didn't prevent him from looking down on this golden core kid. If this was an ordinary golden core, he would have already killed him. He wouldn't have waited until now. The Blood Dragon General and the others had taken advantage of him in vain. The Blood Dragon General snorted. We didn't take advantage of you, and neither did you. Why don't you see what's here and you will understand? When they first came down, they really didn't see it clearly, but they soon found that there were actually some ancient books here. There were all kinds of ancient books, big and small, and some were even very strange. They had never seen them before. This made them very surprised and shocked. There was such a thing. At this moment, they finally understood why the Blood Dragon General and the others had nothing to do here. They didn't get anything at all. Chapter 44:23. Lin Fei had already mastered the Gale body technique. He didn't care much about the people who came down, but there was a figure among them that surprised him a little. He actually had a hint of killing intent towards him. Although it wasn't very obvious, Lin Fei immediately remembered this person. Let me think about what this guy's name is. The Blood Dragon General had already introduced him to him before, so he had more or less an understanding of these people. By the way, this person is called Su Yuan, a master in the middle stage of the nascent soul realm. He didn't expect that he would actually have a killing intent towards him. Even if Su Yuan didn't realize that he had revealed his killing intent, Lin Fei knew about it, so he completely remembered this person. Don't let me run into a chance, or I will definitely kill you. Lin Fei's thoughts flashed. Then he closed his eyes and rested. He knew that there must be a trigger condition on this floor. Maybe this trigger condition was these nascent soul realm masters. After all, above the nascent soul realm was the insightful void realm, but it was too difficult to reach the insightful void realm. So far, there were very few people who could reach it. So the person who triggered it was naturally a nascent soul realm master. Lin Fei's thoughts were actually very accurate. When the nascent soul realm masters came down, this floor was really activated. They saw a light curtain appear. No, it was an illusory figure. It slowly gathered from this palace, which made everyone feel a little incredible, because they didn't feel the slightest. After this person appeared, everyone could feel a vast and boundless aura. There was a kind of idea to make them surrender. Lin Fei himself also felt such an idea. He immediately knew who this person was. This person was the insightful void realm master, Gu Xian. At this time, this Gu Xian powerhouse didn't show his face at all. It was just a very illusory figure. But Lin Fei could feel the terrible lethality. Even an illusory figure could kill a nascent soul realm master. Congratulations on coming to this floor. I am the Gu Xian you have been looking for. I left a lot of good things in my tomb. Now I will give you a question. Those who can come to this floor should be original Yuanying stage masters. Gu Xian's voice wasn't very loud, but it fell into everyone's hearts like telepathy. The three things that I, Gu Xian, like to do the most in my life are concocting pills, forging weapons, and comprehending techniques. I have comprehended countless techniques, and in this floor, there is a technique that I have left behind. As long as you can comprehend it, you will be able to enter the next floor. As for you all, you only have 10 days. Remember, you only have 10 days. If you are unable to comprehend it, you will be expelled from the whole void ancient tomb and will never be able to enter again. However, those who are able to comprehend it will be able to enter the next level. You all don't know what will be on the next floor. However, I can tell you that there are insight void treasures on the next floor. There are a total of 3 of them, and they are all top-grade insight void treasures. You all should understand what that means. Everyone's breathing instantly got heavier. After all, there were 3 insight void treasures, and they were all top-grade insight void treasures. This was different. It would definitely be unforgettable. With a top-grade insight void treasure, one's strength would increase exponentially. It wouldn't be a problem for one to be invincible in the original soul realm. How about it? Everyone is tempted, right? Since you are tempted, why don't you take action? Hurry up and unleash your potential. Comprehend the techniques. Well, as long as you succeed in comprehending the techniques and practice it once more, you will naturally be able to trigger the conditions I have left behind. Then, you will be able to enter the next floor. 3 top-grade insight void treasures await you. With that, the illusory voice disappeared. However, Gu Xian's words had indeed caused a huge stir in everyone's hearts. This was a chance to obtain a top-grade insight void treasure. If they missed this chance, who knew when they would get another one? After all, insight void treasures weren't something that could be found all the time. Everyone looked at each other and started flipping through the ancient books, without a second word. Everyone wanted to comprehend a technique from these ancient books. As long as they could get their hands on it, they would be able to enter the next floor. 3 places. Everyone wanted to be one of these 3 places. The Blood Dragon General and the others were full of regret. After all, they had also flipped through these ancient books at the beginning. However, they never thought that there would be such a function. It seems that we have to rely on luck. The Blood Dragon General said with a bitter smile. Lu Bai also said, I really didn't expect these ancient books to be so useful. I guess this Gu Xian broke up this technique and compiled it into these books. That's why we didn't think much of it. Lin Fei also said, I think it's better to grab some ancient books first. Otherwise, without these ancient books, it would be difficult to comprehend them. Lin Fei's words undoubtedly hit the nail on the head, and the other nascent soul realm powerhouses also thought of this. They began to grab these ancient books crazily. Among them, Lin Fei was the least anxious. After all, he had already obtained the Tongtian divine sword. This sword had not been refined, but it was still considered a top-grade one. Why would there be a top-grade Tongtian divine sword there? It was probably a lot worse than the top-grade insight void treasures inside. For Lin Fei, it didn't matter much. He had the divine tree of life. Under the refinement, it could actually improve the Tongtian divine sword to a certain extent. Although the effect was still very weak, Lin Fei could clearly feel it. So he began to grab the ancient books in front of him. No matter what, he had to try his luck. If he could enter the next level, that would definitely be a good thing. An insight void treasure could definitely be exchanged for a large number of treasures made of Tongtian divine wood. It could make his divine tree of life grow more and more vigorous. His strength would recover faster. This was also an opportunity for Lin Fei. When Lin Fei grabbed the ancient books, the other nascent soul realm powerhouses did the same. If you grabbed it, I would grab it too. There would even be a few collisions occasionally, but no one was willing to waste time at this time. So Lin Fei did not encounter much resistance. After all, no one was willing to fight with him, who was at the peak of the Golden Core realm, because it was too time-consuming. Lin Fei had already grabbed thousands of ancient books, which wasn't a lot, because some nascent soul realm powerhouses had terrifying divine powers that could take away thousands of books with a wave of their hands, causing the rows of wooden shelves to be empty. Fortunately, Lin Fei wasn't greedy. Having thousands of ancient books was enough. He chose a place and sat down. At the same time, he released his sword intent, which protected him like a ripple, and began to comprehend. Unlike others, Lin Fei's spiritual sense was stronger than others in the first place. So it instantly enveloped the thousands of ancient books. He began to record the information in his mind. He began to analyze and calculate. Chapter 44:24. Lin Fei's comprehension ability was faster than anyone else's. At the same time, he also realized that analyzing these thousands of ancient books was not an easy task. This Gu Xian was really powerful. He actually broke a cultivation method into countless pieces and embedded it word by word into these ancient books. If one had a strong spiritual consciousness, they would not be able to comprehend it. On the third day, Lin Fei finally discovered the difference between these thousands of ancient books and admired this Gu Xian in his heart. To be able to do this, it was really not something that anyone could do. As for comprehension, it was mainly a test of the ability of one's spiritual consciousness. If the ability of one's spiritual consciousness was not strong, it would be impossible to carry out a deep level of deduction. Fortunately, this was what Lin Fei was least afraid of. He could be said to have read a lot of books, so the slight changes could not be hidden from Lin Fei's eyes. So on the third day, he made some discoveries. On the fourth day, Lin Fei pieced together a cultivation method. However, this was only the first one. In the next few days, the cultivation methods were pieced together. Lin Fei did not believe that Gu Xian was so simple. If these words were inlaid in this ancient book, he would definitely piece together a lot of cultivation methods. Everything went as Lin Fei had imagined. 6 days passed in a row. A total of 10 cultivation methods were pieced together. In these 10 cultivation methods, Lin Fei continued to make deductions. On the 9th day, he finally managed to deduce a real technique. As for the other cultivation methods, they were all fake. This Gu Xian, he actually left such a trap. He's really not cunning. The corner of Lin Fei's mouth raised slightly, and he called out. At this time, there were a lot less people in this palace. Lin Fei knew at a glance that these people must have been careless and fell into the trap. They thought that they could cultivate just by comprehending a cultivation method. As a result, they failed to cultivate, and if they went to demonstrate it, they would be eliminated. For example, the Blood Dragon General and Liu Bai had disappeared. Lin Fei shook his head slightly. There were not many people left in the hall. However, Su Yuan was still there. He was immersed in his calculations. Lin Fei already knew that he didn't have much time left. He quickly began to cultivate this technique. This technique was actually not very important. Its name was the Eye of Void. It sounded similar to the insightful emptiness realm. But in truth, the void-piercing eyes were only used to detect danger. For example, being able to see through some array formations and hidden dangers could be considered a very useless technique. It didn't have much effect on Lin Fei, but it didn't stop Lin Fei from cultivating this technique. Hualalalala. Not long after. And so, Lin Fei succeeded in cultivating the insightful eye. Once he executed this insightful void eye, a vertical eye would appear on his forehead. It would be faintly discernible, allowing him to see through all dangers. For those who were weak, it was still very useful. However, Lin Fei really didn't care much about it. Lin Fei stood up and began to activate the insightful Void Eye. Several nascent soul realm powerhouses saw that Lin Fei stood up, but they didn't care much. After all, it wasn't easy for this guy to persist until now. So, without a doubt, he would probably be eliminated in the next second. As soon as Lin Fei's insightful Void Eye was activated, he saw a divine light fall. Congratulations, lucky kid. An illusory figure appeared, and with a flash of light, Lin Fei disappeared from the palace. The remaining nascent soul realm powerhouses instantly widened their eyes and took a deep breath. They were full of envy and jealousy, and Su Yuan was trying his best to comprehend. And when he saw that Lin Fei had passed this level, his face became a little ugly. Anyone could be the first to go in, but it definitely couldn't be this Golden Core Realm kid. He was already at the peak of the Golden Core Realm. If he got another insightful void treasure, wouldn't ordinary nascent soul realm powerhouses be helpless against him? Lin Fei's entry stimulated these nascent soul realm powerhouses even more. They couldn't wait to go in immediately, but this cultivation method was too difficult to comprehend, and there were traps everywhere. Lin Fei didn't know that they were thinking so much. He came to a small palace, and it was also empty. However, there were 3 orbs floating in the empty palace. These 3 spheres were enveloped by a mysterious power. Lin Fei actually couldn't see what was inside these balls. Could it be that the 3 insightful void treasures are inside these 3 balls? This is a big test. Lin Fei couldn't see through it, so naturally, he didn't know which of the 3 insightful void treasures was better. Lin Fei glanced at the palace, but he didn't find anything. He completely believed Gu Xian's words. There were really only 3 insightful void treasures here, so it was up to him to choose. After glancing at the 3 balls, Lin Fei instantly grabbed the ball in the middle. As for how to choose, Lin Fei didn't have much of an idea. He was just going to do it casually. After all, Lin Fei was a casual person. Clatter! The ball of light shattered, and an insightful void treasure fell out. Lin Fei reached out and grabbed it, and the insightful void treasure fell into his hands. However, after holding the treasure in his hands, Lin Fei frowned slightly, and he didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I actually took a token. It was a very ordinary token, and even if it was thrown on the street, no one would notice it. However, there was only one word on the token. It was a suppression. Just by looking at it, one could feel the overwhelming suppression aura. It was as if he was facing a world. Lin Fei couldn't believe that this token was actually an insightful void treasure. He finally understood the difference between an original soul realm and an insightful void realm. Treasures made by an insightful void realm cultivator were indeed different. Even something like a token had such a strong deterrent effect. Lin Fei refined the token first. After all, it was good to have more power. As for whether he would use it to exchange, that was another matter. After coming down, Lin Fei sucked in a breath of cold air. It was actually such a powerful treasure. It turned out that the soul-suppressing token could form something like a domain within a 10-mile radius around him. It could easily suppress the strength of an original soul realm cultivator. At most, it could suppress 80% of their strength, and at least 40%. This insightful void treasure made Lin Fei feel how powerful Gu Xian was. "Young man, since you have chosen your treasure, you can leave now." Clatter! A voice rang out beside his ear, and a wave of power enveloped his body. In the next second, Lin Fei appeared in a mountain in the Nanyuan prefecture. Under the scorching sun, he was in a trance. He actually left the tomb of an insightful void realm cultivator. Chapter 44:25. Nanyuan County, Nanyang City. This was not a big city, but it was quite famous, because there was a business association here called Nanyang Business Association. It was the largest business association in Nanyang County. As for why it was here, it was because this was where they started. So when everyone heard of Nanyang Business Association, they were surprised. After all, this city was not big. However, there were several nascent soul stage experts in the city. No one dared to look down on them. And Nanyang Business Association had a nascent soul expert in charge, and he was a late-stage nascent soul expert. Did you guys hear? I heard that a young expert appeared in the ancient mysterious tomb of an insight emptiness expert. He is at the peak of the gold core realm. I heard that he even snatched an insight treasure. In a restaurant, there were many people sitting together and talking loudly, and one of the words caught the attention of many people. It can't be. There is another peak gold core expert in our Nanyang County. Could he be a young master? I heard that the peak gold core realm is not something anyone can cultivate to. Could it be a mistake? How could it be wrong? It was Senior Su Yuan who spread the news. Everyone should know who Su Yuan is. He is a mid-stage nascent soul expert. Now, I heard that many people in our Nanyang County are looking for that gold core kid to snatch that insight treasure from him. With an insight treasure, one's strength can increase by a lot. I also heard that this insight treasure is of the highest grade. Think about how terrifying it is. At this moment, at a place near the side, it was close to the window and one could see the street outside. There was a man in a black cloak sitting there and he was eating at a steady pace. However, his gaze did not fall on the outside. Instead, it fell on these people. That Su Yuan fella is quite impressive. He actually spread the news. Sure enough, he is thick-skinned. I guess the entire Nanyang County knows that I obtained an insight treasure. The person sitting there eating was Lin Fei. Ever since he was transported out, Lin Fei first refined the soul-subduing token and began to inquire about information. In the end, he received news that there was a merchant association in the southern Cloud County, the Nanyang Merchant Association. That was why he came here. After all, he had collected quite a lot of things, including spirit stones. Therefore, he was prepared to see if there were any treasures like the Supreme Token. But he didn't expect to hear another piece of news here. This was deliberately released by Su Yuan. No matter how stupid Lin Fei was, he could still imagine it. After all, that Su Yuan had killing intent towards him. Such killing intent was naturally filled with hatred. The news he released was also very normal. Lin Fei was actually not surprised at all. With the temper of Su Yuan, if he didn't release the news, it would be a shame for his identity as a nascent soul stage powerhouse. Currently, the entire southern Cloud County was searching for him. However, Lin Fei had nothing to be afraid of. His strength had already increased extremely quickly. The Tongtian Divine Sword has been completely refined. Coupled with the soul-suppressing tablet, even if a nascent soul master came, he would not hesitate to kill. Now, Lin Fei was ready to go to Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. Throwing down a piece of spirit stone, Lin Fei headed towards Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. Nanyang Chamber of Commerce's appearance was very big and magnificent. In a small city, it was still very eye-catching. This, sir, if you want to participate in our Nanyang Chamber of Commerce's auction, you need to buy a corresponding slot. One slot costs 1 million low-grade spirit stones. Lin Fei walked into Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. There were quite a lot of people here. One slot to the auction required 1 million low-grade spirit stones. Lin Fei frowned slightly and paid 1 million low-grade spirit stones. Now, what he lacked the least was this low-grade spirit stone. He had successfully obtained a place and a small card. Finally, he entered the auction house of Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. This was a special big room. It was very big inside. When Lin Fei came in, there were already quite a lot of people. This was also the day that Lin Fei calculated. But the position was not very good. It was relatively far back. Of course, Lin Fei still liked such a position. It was inconspicuous. As long as it was something useful to him, it would be fine. He found a place to sit down and closed his eyes to rest. During this period, there were also many people chatting. Lin Fei listened quietly, but the most talked about things about the extreme Jet on stage. After all, the appearance of an extreme Jet on stage master was not a trivial matter, because the extreme Jet on stage master could fight against an early Yuanying stage master. If they had treasures, they would be able to fight to a draw. Once he stepped into the Yuanying stage, his strength could be comparable to the middle Yuanying stage. It was just that everyone was not very friendly to this Jet-on stage master, who asked the other party to take a Dongshu treasure, who didn't want to snatch it from the hands of this Jet-on stage master. Lin Fei secretly rejoiced that he brought a cloak, otherwise he would have been targeted by now. This was not a good thing for Lin Fei. After all, once his whereabouts were exposed, there would be a lot of trouble. Lin Fei was not very afraid, but once there were more Yuanying stage masters, there would be some big trouble. Therefore, it was better to keep a low profile. Lin Fei was going to see what would be sold in this auction. If there were treasures made from the divine tree, it would be the best. If there were no treasures, then he could only go to Nanyun City in the Nanyun Prefecture. That was the biggest city in the entire Nanyun Prefecture. Perhaps there would be great gains there. There was a certain risk in going there, but Lin Fei was still confident in his strength. With the Dongshu weapon and the deadly sword technique, as well as the soul-suppressing tablet, even if a Yuanying stage master came, he could still leave calmly. Even if a Yuanying stage master came, he would only be injured. It was not that easy to suppress him. The place that Lin Fei wanted to go the most was the treasure tower. It was a pity that there was no treasure tower in the Nanyun Prefecture. What a pity! The big room was soon filled with people. No one paid much attention to Lin Fei's outfit because it was too common. After the room was full, the first auction began. A middle-aged man went on the stage and bowed to everyone. Welcome to the Nanyun auction. Today, I will host the auction. The auctioneer was still very efficient. He did not talk too much and quickly went straight to the topic of the first auction of the day. The first auction was a warm-up activity, and a good treasure was taken out. The competition for a treasure was relatively fierce. Because it was more suitable for people in the Jet-on stage, it was finally sold for more than 6 million low-grade spirit stones. Although it was only 6 million low-grade spirit stones, it was not cheap. After the opening, good things began to appear on the stage one after another. Chapter 44:26. There were really a lot of things in the Nanyang auction, one after another. Most of them were relatively valuable, and the competition was very fierce. As said, this Nanyang Chamber of Commerce could become the #1 Chamber of Commerce in this Nanyun Prefecture. There were many treasures. Even Lin Fei had some ideas after seeing them. However, he didn't need these treasures, but they were definitely quite meaningful for other Golden Core experts. Lin Fei also saw that there were no nascent Soul Realm experts here, but for Golden Core experts. The things here were definitely worth it. Lin Fei didn't know how many items he had auctioned, but he was starting to feel sleepy. At this moment, the middle-aged man began to speak again. The next auction is something that everyone is very surprised about. That is the Heaven-Reaching Sect's Master Token. This made the Gold Core experts present a little brighter all of a sudden. Even the sleepy Lin Fei noticed it. He listened carefully. Although this Master Token was very ordinary, it had a special function. Everyone knows that the Heaven-Reaching Sect is one of the top 10 real immortal sects in our spiritual realm. Joining this Heaven-Reaching Sect can allow you to ascend and become an immortal. Lin Fei could tell from the eyes of the people around him how important this sky-piercing Master Disciple Token was. It turned out that the Master Token was passed down in the past. As long as one held the Master Token, he could enter the Heaven-Reaching Sect and become a disciple. The Heaven-Reaching Sect was one of the top 10 immortal sects in the spiritual realm. Joining the Heaven-Reaching Sect would give one the opportunity to become an immortal and ascend to the immortal realm. The spiritual realm was just a small world in the immortal realm. Lin Fei didn't have much interest in becoming an immortal or not. After all, he was an immortal realm expert, not much different from those immortals who became immortals. However, he was interested in the sky-reaching token of the sky-reaching church. That was the most interesting thing to him. Originally, Lin Fei had planned to collect Skirich tokens or treasures refined from the Skirich divine tree. However, it seemed that it would be somewhat difficult for him to do so. However, it would be a different story if he joined the Skirich church. Perhaps he would be able to obtain many supreme treasures. Lin Fei did not believe that the Tongtian church did not have any treasures refined by the Tongtian divine tree. Perhaps he might even see more treasures. Lin Fei had an idea in an instant. No matter what, he had to get this through Heaven Apprenticeship Order and then join the Through Heaven Church. After all, it wasn't easy for him to stay in the southern Cloud County. That Su Yuan had already spread the news about him, and it was estimated that many people were looking for his whereabouts. He hadn't been discovered yet, but that was only because no one had noticed him yet. After a period of time, he would become known, and at that time there would be a lot of trouble. Since he had not exposed himself yet, he might as well become a disciple of the sky-reaching church. Naturally, he would have the opportunity to obtain other treasures, and he would not be targeted by others. Currently, the news had only spread within the southern Cloud County. The other counties probably did not know about it. This was also an opportunity for Lin Fei. Let's start the auction now. The starting price of this sky-piercing apprentice order is 100 mid-grade spirit stones. 100 mid-grade spirit stones was actually not cheap. Not everyone had mid-grade spirit stones in their hands. No matter how many low-grade spirit stones there were, they could not compete with mid-grade spirit stones. After all, the level of existence was different, so the competition was very intense. In the blink of an eye, the price of this sky-piercing apprenticeship order had reached 1,000 mid-grade spirit stones. It also made many gold core experts secretly take a breath of cold air. Did it have to be so expensive? The price of 1,000 mid-grade spirit stones did not reach its limit. It climbed all the way to 2,000 mid-grade spirit stones before it gradually stopped. Everyone, don't fight with us. This sky-piercing apprenticeship order belongs to our Dajiang sect. At this moment, a young figure stood up. His body was emitting a faint glow, which suddenly made everyone pay attention to him. This was a very arrogant young man. After standing up, many people sucked in a breath of cold air. It seems that Dajiang sect is preparing to join the Through Heaven Church. I heard that Dajiang sect has great talent and potential. Now he is already at the Golden Core Great Perfection. It is said that he will only attempt to break through to the extreme realm when he reaches the peak of the Golden Core realm. Many people stopped bidding after seeing Dajiang sect. After all, the Dajiang sect was still very powerful. If your Dajiang sect is powerful, why didn't you ask us, the Sky Saber sect? I want the sky-piercing apprenticeship order. 2,300 mid-grade spirit stones. Another young man stood up. This person's eyebrows were sharp like knives. He stood there like a sharp knife. There were many golden core experts present. When they saw these two people fighting for the sky-piercing apprenticeship order, they immediately understood. This was a great interest in the sky-piercing apprenticeship order. Whether it was the Dajiang sect or the Sky Saber sect, they were not as good as the sky-piercing apprenticeship, one of the top 10 immortal sections. Joining the sky-piercing apprenticeship order would give one the opportunity to cultivate and become an immortal. The biggest goal in the spiritual realm was to cultivate and become an immortal. It turns out to be young Master Sky Saber. Since you want this sky-piercing apprenticeship order, let's see who can afford it. 2,500 mid-grade spirit stones. The two of them began bidding. In the blink of an eye, the price had reached 4,600 mid-grade spirit stones. This was already an extremely high price. It was not easy to earn mid-grade spirit stones. In fact, it was quite difficult. Lin Fei originally thought that he would have to pay a large number of mid-grade spirit stones, but he did not expect that it would only be a few thousand mid-grade spirit stones. It seemed that the mid-grade spirit stones were really valuable. At the very least, Lin Fei now had a large pile of middle-grade spirit stones. I want the sky-piercing apprenticeship order. 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones. You don't have to compete with me. While young Master Sky Saber and young Master Sky Saber were thinking about continuing to increase the price, suddenly a voice rang out. They all suspected that they had heard wrong, and their eyes were directly cast over. They found that it was a man in a black cloak, and they could not see his face clearly. But these 10,000 middle-grade spirit stones made everyone take a deep breath. Even if they were golden core experts, spending 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones at one time would make them feel distressed. Now, someone had directly offered 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Both young Master Sky Saber and young Master Sky Saber secretly gasped. Taking out a few thousand mid-grade spirit stones was already a lot. After all, they did not receive any news on this trip. This was a big rule of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. They would never leak out the auction of anything. It was purely based on luck. And this time, they brought very few mid-grade spirit stones. After all, once such a sky-piercing apprenticeship order appeared, it would indeed cause a great competition. When everyone looked at the black-cloaked man, they could not see the origin of him. It was naturally not easy to take out 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones. The sky-piercing apprenticeship order was useless for yuaning powerhouses, and only golden core experts could be apprenticed, so the competition between golden core experts was still very fierce. But now it seemed that they had lost this opportunity. You don't have to compete with me. No one can compete with me for this sky-piercing apprenticeship order. If you offer more than 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones, I will give you 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Chapter 44:27. After such domineering words were released, the auctioneers were all surprised on the spot. Of course, it was a slap in the face for young Master Dajiang and young Master Tiandao. They were fighting for this heavenly master apprentice order, and their goal was very clear. It was a rare opportunity, and they actually met a rich guy. Moreover, he wanted to add another 10,000 mid-grade spirit stones to their price. If this wasn't a slap in the face, what was? Unfortunately, they were speechless. After all, it was pure luck that they encountered this heavenly apprentice order. This was also the fault of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. They had always been very low-key when auctioning things. He wouldn't be known until after the fact. As a result, every auction was actually a test of luck. Sometimes there would be good things in one auction, and sometimes there would be good things in the next auction. It was hard to say, but this time they were the ones who went against them. But in the end, he met a mysterious guy who seemed to have a lot of middle-grade spirit stones. How could he be in a good mood? Mister, this heavenly master disciple token is very useful to me. If you give it to our Dajiang sect will owe you a favor, Dajiang Prince said. Young Master Sky Saber, who was next to him, said, It's the same for our Sky Saber sect. As long as you give up your spot, everything will be negotiable. Otherwise, our Sky Saber sect will not be bullied so easily. Lin Fei laughed and said, If you don't have money, don't pretend to be a big shot here. This is Nanyang Auction House, not your family's territory. If you don't have spirit stones, stand aside. The scene fell into a brief silence. The people present were actually quite surprised. After all, the black-cloaked man's face could not be seen clearly, but his words were quite bold. Was he really not afraid of the Great River sect and the Heavenly Saber sect? These two sects were very powerful and could be considered as first-rate forces in the southern Cloud County. Most people really didn't dare to offend them. After all, they all had a yuaning stage master. As long as there was a yuaning stage master, naturally no one could offend them. Once the yuaning came out, there would be no place for you in the world. This was the power of the Yuanying masters. "I offer 20,000 middle-grade spirit stones." Young Master Dajiang said coldly. This was all the middle-grade spirit stones he had brought with him. Lin Fei smiled faintly. "Isn't it just 20,000 middle-grade spirit stones? I'll give you 10,000 more, 30,000 middle-grade spirit stones." Then he looked at the auctioneer with a smile. "If anyone here increases the price recklessly, I wonder if the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce will punish them or kick them out." The auctioneer rarely encountered such a situation. After all, both the Great River sect and the Heavenly Saber sect knew about this. They had not expected that the Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order would meet such a rich person. He had even offered 30,000 medial-grade spirit stones. In our Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, anyone who gives a false price will naturally be blacklisted by our Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. From then on, we will no longer have any cooperation, let alone enter the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce to participate in auctions. The auctioneer said solemnly. Lin Fei said, "That's good. 30,000 medium-rank spirit stones. If anyone wants to increase the price, feel free to continue. I don't have many other things, but I have a lot of medium-rank spirit stones." Originally, young Master Heavenly Saber was prepared to bid, but he did not expect the other party to really bid. 30,000 mid-grade spirit stones. He did not dare to speak again. After all, the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce was different from other chambers of commerce. If he really gave a false price, he would be blacklisted and lose a place. Therefore, he could only stare. However, he also remembered this black-cloaked man, who actually dared to compete for the Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order in front of them. After Lin Fei offered 30,000 mid-grade spirit stones, he suppressed all these people, and no one was willing to bid. In the end, he spent a total of 35,000 mid-grade spirit stones to get the Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order. This thing was indeed refined by the Heavenly Tree, and there was a special power added to it. It was probably used to distinguish the real from the fake. After getting this Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order, Lin Fei was not interested in other things. Originally, those people thought that the black-cloaked man would still make a move, but they did not expect that after getting the Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order, he actually did not speak anymore. They heaved a long sigh of relief, and their thoughts were much more at ease. Until the end of the auction, Lin Fei did not make a move again. On the contrary, the Dajiang Young Master and the Heavenly Saber Young Master had a strange look in their eyes. When the auction was over, the two young masters left as soon as possible. They did not know what they were going to do. Lin Fei paid 35,000 mid-grade spirit stones, and it could be said that he had this Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order. With this Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order, he could go to the county city where the Heavenly Reaching Church was located and join the sect. For improving his strength, there was finally a good opportunity. As soon as he left the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, Lin Fei saw the Dajiang Young Master and the Heavenly Saber Young Master standing at the door of the Chamber of Commerce. The two of them looked gloomy, and there were many experts behind them. Of course, most of them had the strength of the Gold Core Realm, and this lineup could not be underestimated. "Your Excellency," we still have the same words. "If you sell this Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order to us, then everything will be fine. Otherwise, you really can't go anywhere today," said the Dajiang Young Master coldly. The Heavenly Saber Young Master, who was holding the saber in his hand, also smiled and said, "Yes, the Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order is not yours just because you bought it. If you have the ability, you can take it away first, but it seems that your ability should not be that strong." At this time, at the door of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, many people also noticed this scene. After hearing about the Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order, their eyes lit up a little. Everyone knew that with this Heavenly Soaring Master Apprentice Order, it was equivalent to having the qualification to join the Great Immortal Sects. 10 Great Immortal Sects. Just thinking about it made people envious. Unexpectedly, This heavenly soaring master apprentice order was actually bought by a black-cloaked man, and it was from the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce. At this time, on the top floor of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, a young man in white clothes stood with his hands behind his back, looking at the situation outside. "Young master, do you want to go out and remind the Dajiang young master and the heavenly saber young master that doing this kind of thing in front of our Chamber of Commerce will have a bad influence if it is spread out?" The young master was the third young master of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, who was in charge of the daily affairs here. At this time, his face was very indifferent. It doesn't matter, our Nanyang Chamber of Commerce has never cared about outside matters. They can do whatever they want to do. This black-cloaked man is quite interesting. He actually offered 35,000 middle-grade spirit stones. His background is not simple. Although the Dajiang young master and the heavenly saber young master were more confident, the Nanyang young master did not take it seriously. Lin Fei looked at the Dajiang young master and the heavenly saber young master who were blocking in front of him and chuckled. "You guys are quite capable. When you can't buy anything, you actually blocked the road outside." The Dajiang young master chuckled. "Then you misunderstood. We're not blocking the road, but we want to buy the heavenly soaring master apprentice order in your hands." Chapter 44:28. Who is that young man? He actually offended the Dajiang young master and the Sky Saber young master. Needless to say, he must have robbed something. Don't forget that today is the day of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce's auction. What good things are they talking about? You guys are a little confused. They said that it was the heavenly apprentice order. You didn't expect it, right? This is a good thing. It is a chance to enter the top 10 immortal sects. Don't you think they are tempted? Many of the people present heard it clearly, especially the heavenly apprentice order. It was definitely a good thing. Everyone would value it. After all, this was a chance to enter the top 10 immortal sects. If they missed this opportunity, there would be no more. The Dajiang sect and the Sky Saber sect were quite powerful. Naturally, ordinary people could not offend them. Everyone broke into a cold sweat for the black-cloaked man. He could have offended anyone, but he chose to offend them. In that case, how many spirit stones are the two of you going to pay for my Skirich master token? Lin Fei asked unhurriedly. The Dajiang young master laughed and said, "If you are willing to sell it, each of us will pay 10,000 medium spiritual stones. After all, your heavenly apprentice order was only worth 15,000 medium spiritual stones. You can still earn 5,000 medium spiritual stones by selling it to us." Young Master Sky Saber said, "It's not easy to earn 5,000 middle-grade spirit stones. You got a great bargain." Lin Fei also admired these two people. Their ability to talk nonsense was really different. He had spent 35,000 medium spiritual stones to buy the heavenly apprentice order, but in the blink of an eye, there were only 15,000 medium spiritual stones left. They even let him earn 5,000 medium spiritual stones. In the end, they said that he had earned 5,000 medium spiritual stones. Sure enough, people were different. I am very curious. Who gave you the courage to talk nonsense in front of me? Get lost as far as you can. The Dajiang young master and the Sky Saber young master had indeed discussed it. They planned to get the heavenly apprentice order back first. As for who would get it, it was simple. Whoever was stronger could take it. After all, the two people's strength was similar. This was the fairest way. As for the 20,000 medium-grade spirit stones, they would naturally need to snatch them back from the hands of this young man. Since he dared to bid for the heavenly connection order in front of them, he would naturally have to pay the price. And the price was naturally his life. After hearing Lin Fei snort, both of their expressions turned ugly. He actually dared to tell them to scram in front of everyone. "Since you don't know what's good for you, we'll take action." Young Master Dajiang had nothing else to say. With a wave of his hand, the Golden Core experts behind him took action. It was the same on Heavenly Saber young Master's side. More than a dozen gold core experts attacked in an instant. All kinds of treasures, one after another. That scene instantly caused many people to suck in a breath of cold air. The black-cloaked man couldn't stop him at all, unless it was a yuanying stage master. But the other party was just a guy who exuded the aura of the Jedi on stage. It was impossible for him to be a yuanying stage master. Therefore, after encountering so many golden core experts, his fate was destined to be predictable. Bang, 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 bang. An invisible sword light instantly struck these magic treasures. These golden core experts, who released their treasures, all grunted and stepped back. With just one sword, they found that their treasures were damaged. There was a clear sword mark on it, and the sword light had damaged their treasures. Their faces were a little ugly, and their hearts couldn't help but sink. They had encountered an expert. With such little strength, you have the nerve to make a move. I really don't know who gave you the courage. Lin Fei glanced at young Master Dajiang and Heavenly Saber young Master faintly. What do you think? Both of their faces were a little pale. The other party actually broke these attacks with one sword. Those were magic treasures, a total of 12 or 13 magic treasures, which was not something that a golden core expert could withstand. However, the other party's sword light blocked the attacks of these magic treasures. Instead, these magic treasures seemed to be damaged, which was the most unacceptable thing for them. Now hand over all your rings, or I won't be merciful with my sword, Lin Fei said coldly. While young Master Dajiang and Heavenly Saber young Master were still hesitating, a sword light, like a bright light, appeared in front of them in an instant. They flew out, and a sword mark appeared on the armor in front of them, leaving a wound on their flesh. There's not much time left. If you don't hand it over, you will lose your life. No one could see how fast this sword light was. Anyway, when they saw it, Heavenly Saber young Master and young Master Dajiang had already fallen to the ground. A sword mark was drawn on their bodies, and it was clearly visible. They couldn't help but gasp. If this sword fell on their necks, wouldn't their heads fall to the ground? Where did this expert come from? And he was a swordsman. We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. Don't do it. Young Master Dajiang and Heavenly Saber young Master hurriedly shouted. The rings on their hands were also thrown over, and they didn't dare to stay. Lin Fei took it in his hand and instantly removed the mark on it. Seeing that you are fast, I still have to leave some punishment for you. After another sword light flashed, young Master Dajiang and young Master Tiandao screamed, and one of their arms flew out. Lin Fei destroyed one of their arms. Remember, not everything can be snatched by you. If you don't like it, you can bring people over. Lin Fei walked out of the city, and the onlookers made way for him. Who dared to stop him? Young Master Dajiang and young Master Tiandao suffered a big loss. One of their arms was destroyed, and they couldn't grow it back until they reached the nascent soul realm. Even if they used special treasures, it would be an extremely high price. This time they suffered a big loss. The young master of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce also saw this scene, and he frowned slightly. A swordsman. His swordsmanship is so fast that even I can't catch it. When did such an expert come out? The confidant next to him suddenly said, This person's strength is a bit scary. Could it be that Golden Core Realm kid Lin Fei? I heard that guy is an extreme master. Lin Fei, the young master of the Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, frowned slightly again and then relaxed. If this person is Lin Fei, who is at the extreme Golden Core Realm, it makes sense, but he is a bit bold. He actually dared to come to Nanyang City. Is he not afraid of being targeted by the nascent Soul Realm Master? However, he destroyed the young Master Dajiang and young Master Tiandao in one breath. The Dajiang sect and the Sky Saber sect will probably come out in full force to seek justice. After all, if they don't cultivate to the nascent soul realm in this life, they will be completely useless. No one will do anything about it. Chapter 44:29. Lin Fei did not feel that he had done anything wrong. Anyway, he had already gotten what he wanted. With this heaven-reaching apprentice order, he only needed to head to the county, and he would naturally be able to join the heaven-reaching church. Speaking of which, he was more or less excited. After all, this was an excellent opportunity to improve his strength. From the heaven-reaching apprentice order, Lin Fei also heard some news. There were very few of them outside. As for whether the heaven-reaching church would admit it or not, that was another matter. At least for Lin Fei, it was an opportunity for him to have a breakthrough in his strength. Not long after leaving Nanyang City, Lin Fei felt that someone was following him. The person following him was quite skilled. If not for Lin Fei being different from ordinary people, he would have really been followed. It should be that many people were jealous of the heaven-reaching apprentice order, so they arranged for someone to follow him. Naturally, it was the news released by young Master Dajiang. It was hard not to be tempted. It represented an opportunity. It seems that killing is inevitable, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, I don't plan to stay in Nanyang County any longer. Originally, Lin Fei planned to stay in Nanyang County for a period of time to understand more, but it seemed that he could not stay any longer. The heaven-reaching apprentice order would cause a lot of trouble. So. Just when Lin Fei was frowning, several streams of light directly attacked. So there were already people coming. When these streams of light got close to Lin Fei, they instantly turned into an inescapable net. So it was to trap Lin Fei here. Such a method was quite amazing. Who was Lin Fei? In an instant, he had cleaved apart the inescapable net of light. If you want my heaven-reaching apprentice order, you have to take your lives. Otherwise, you're not qualified. After breaking the inescapable net, Lin Fei immediately counterattacked. Since they wanted his heaven-reaching apprentice order, they had to be prepared. There was indeed a group of people in the distance. They were also very interested in this heaven-reaching apprentice order. Even if they didn't use it themselves, it would still be worth a fortune just by peddling it. The Nanyang Chamber of Commerce's people who participated in the auction spread the news that this person used 35,000 medium-grade spirit stones to buy the Tongtian apprenticeship order. He was definitely a local tyrant. The important thing was that the other party only had the strength of a Jindan. This was their opportunity. If they didn't take action now, then when would they? Hurry up and hand over the Skypiercer disciple token. Otherwise, you'll definitely die. These people who came were quite confident. They were all golden core experts. After all, it was a golden core. There was strength in numbers. The sword light was like flowing water, instantly taking away the lives of these people. As soon as the ring was taken, Lin Fei instantly left. The day began. Lin Fei had been targeted by someone. Wave after wave of people came to stop Lin Fei. The news from the outside world was even more varied. He had a net worth of hundreds of thousands of middle-grade spirit stones and the Heavenly Apprentice Order. There were even people who said that this person had entered the Cave Void ancient tomb and obtained a Cave Void treasure. All kinds of topics were added together. For a time, the entire Nanyang County became lively. Countless experts came out in full force just to find traces of Lin Fei. Originally, with the strength of such a golden core expert, everyone did not think much of it. But as wave after wave of people continued to fall, blood flowed like a river. For a time, everyone was dumbfounded. How could the strength of a golden core expert be so strong? He was ridiculously strong. He had already killed hundreds of golden core experts. Lin Fei originally thought that killing a group of golden core experts would naturally make people retreat. In the end, he realized that he was thinking too much. These people were not like what he imagined at all. Instead, they kept coming like a tide. Lin Fei was blocked by another group of experts. But when this group of experts came, Lin Fei realized that he might have to be ruthless. Because the people who came were Yuaniing experts. I don't care who you are. Hand over the Skypiercer disciple token. Maybe I can spare your life. Otherwise, you will die. on top of a mountain. Lin Fei was surrounded by 3 yuanying experts, and the one who spoke was a young man in red. He had an arrogant temperament and looked as if he was going to eat up Lin Fei. Lin Fei did not know the person in front of him, but he could see that this person had great ability in the Nanyuan County. That's right. At this moment, Lin Fei was still in the Nanyuan County. He was being chased by these experts. He really did not leave the Nanyuan County for a while. Did you hear what our young master said? Hand over the Skypiercer disciple token and all your assets. Also, take off your cloak and let us see if you're Lin Fei. A yuanying expert stared at Lin Fei and said coldly, "Our young master has a temper and is patient. If you don't hand it over, then we will make our move. At that time, even if you are strong, you will still die here." The yuanying experts blocked Lin Fei's way. Among these 3 yuanying experts, 2 were early yuanying and 1 was middle yuanying. It could be considered a big scene. And the young man was a golden core, great perfection expert. His aura was thick and dense. He probably had many treasures on him. Did you hear what we said? I, young master Tian Luo, am not joking. That young master Tian Luo smiled faintly. Otherwise, my patience is limited. Once my patience runs out, you will be finished. You will have wasted your life's worth of strength. Lin Fei had not been in the spiritual realm for a long time. He had not been in the Nanyuan County for a long time, but he already knew some of the experts in the Nanyuan County. Of course, he also knew some of the people in the younger generation that he could not afford to offend. And among them, young Master Tian Luo was one of them, because his father was the 3rd strongest yuanying expert in the Nanyuan County. This was terrifying. At the same time, Lin Fei also knew why the other party came to find him. He was afraid that they were eyeing his hundreds of thousands of middle-grade spirit stones. In Nanyang Chamber of Commerce, he could spend 35,000 spirit stones in one go. If he could obtain the Heavenly Connection Apprenticeship Order, he would be able to earn a lot. Millions of low-grade spirit stones would naturally not move anyone. But when the news spread out that there were hundreds of thousands of middle-grade spirit stones, it was completely worth it for these young masters to make a move. Anyway, he did not need to make a move. A yuanying expert would naturally be able to get it. You are young Master Tian Luo. No wonder you have the guts to block my way. Lin Fei said, Actually, I should advise you not to have any ideas on me. Otherwise, the one who will die will be you. Young Master, Tian Luo laughed out loud. Seems like you did not take my words seriously. Fine. You will have to pay the price for saying the wrong thing. Destroy it. The yuanying expert instantly made his move. 3 treasures directly smashed down. Chapter 4430. The 3 nascent soul realm cultivators had already made their move. The 3 treasures came crashing down with great power. Bullying the weak? They didn't care at all. After all, young Master Tian Luo was the 3rd young master of Nanyuan County. Only the other 2 young masters could suppress him. He wouldn't give face to ordinary people and would kill them as he pleased. This time, young Master Tian Luo was eyeing the Heavenly Master token and the hundreds of thousands of middle-grade spirit stones. If he could get his hands on it, he would be able to make a huge profit. After all, hundreds of thousands of middle-grade spirit stones were very tempting. Even if it wasn't that much, a few hundred or 200,000 would be a huge profit. This was a real cultivation resource. It wasn't easy to find them usually. Even if it was Tian Luo Prince, he only had a few thousand middle-grade spirit stones. There are a lot of low-grade spirit stones, millions of them. It was useless to put them on top of middle-grade spirit stones. When the 3 nascent soul realm cultivators made their move, Lin Fei knew that he would be exposed this time. After all, nascent soul realm cultivators were different from golden core realm cultivators. For golden core realm cultivators, Lin Fei didn't even need to use much strength to kill them. But nascent soul realm cultivators were different. They needed to go all out. The life-reaping sword was instantly unleashed. Bang, 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 bang. It swept across the three treasures and instantly blocked the wave of attacks. The three nascent soul realm cultivators looked at each other and were a little surprised. Sure enough, the rumors were true. This kid's strength was indeed very strong, but that was all. After the treasures were repelled, they came crashing down again. This time, the power was stronger than before. Young man, stop struggling. The more you struggle, the more useless it is. Just obediently surrender. After the sword light flashed, their magic weapons were unexpectedly repelled. The force was even stronger than before. As soon as their treasures flew out, another inconspicuous sword glow swept past them. The three nascent soul realm cultivators' eyebrows twitched as they instantly felt danger. Clatter! The treasured armors on their bodies were actually cut open by a single slash. Even their flesh was broken. Fresh blood flowed. This time they were completely shocked. They had met a powerful cultivator, and it was the kind that hid their strength. Young master, be careful. This person is an expert at the pinnacle of the Golden Core realm. He even has an insightful void weapon. Three nascent soul realm experts were injured with just a single slash. He immediately informed young Master Tianluo. They were here to protect young Master Tianluo. If young Master Tianluo was killed, it would be troublesome. Golden Core Peak, insightful void weapon. I know who you are. You're Lin Fei. At this moment, young Master Tianluo was enlightened. A ripple appeared in front of him. After the ripples appeared, several sword lights swept across it. Kacha-kacha. After the shattering, the sword light crushed over his body. You found out too late. If you dare to target my things, then be prepared. A figure appeared beside Lord Tianluo and took away the ring. You actually dared to kill young Master Tianluo? I'll fight you to the death. The three nascent soul realm masters were caught off guard and saw their young masters being killed. In fact, they couldn't even see how this person did it. Their faces were filled with panic, endless anger, unease, and fear. They knew that with young Master Tianluo's death, they wouldn't have a good ending either. All of this was caused by the person in front of them. They also knew who this person was. It was that Lin Fei who stole the insightful void weapon. Now it's your turn. Since Princess Tianluo is dead, you guys can go on your way. In an instant, they attacked. They were fighting with their lives on the line. The killing move of the three nascent soul realm experts was still very strong. If they killed this person, they might still have a chance to live. Otherwise, if that lord was angered, they would definitely die. That lord was a late-stage nascent soul realm expert. In addition to his own magic treasure, he could fight against a perfected nascent soul realm expert. He was considered very famous. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to sit on the throne of the third expert in Nanyun County. In this Nanyun County, the throne of the third expert was quite valuable. They naturally knew the meaning behind it. Hence, they only wanted to kill this person. Who would have thought that this person was that Lin Fei? He hid himself so deeply. If they knew that this person was Lin Fei, they wouldn't have agreed to let young Master Tianluo deal with Lin Fei. Now, not only did they not get what they wanted, they even lost their lives. Even their lives could not be guaranteed. It was as if there was a huge sword above their heads that could cut them down at any time and kill them. This was not the first time that Lin Fei fought against a nascent soul realm expert. Now, his strength had increased to a certain extent. In addition to the life through heaven legendary sword in his hand, his explosive power was much stronger and faster. The three nascent soul realm experts could not block it at all. They kept on retreating. Voila! Lin Fei's sword pierced through the chest of a nascent soul realm expert. With a kick, he flew down. He turned around and attacked another nascent soul realm expert. Another early-stage nascent soul realm expert was pierced through. The armor on his body could not block the life through heaven legendary sword at all. After all, this was an insightful void weapon. One sword could break through the defense of ordinary armor. More importantly, Lin Fei's speed was also extremely fast. They could not block it at all. The remaining middle-stage nascent soul realm expert turned around and ran without saying anything. If he did not run now, he would definitely die. As soon as he turned around, a figure appeared in front of him and pierced him with a sword. Actually, if you had held on a little longer, you could have lived longer. Unfortunately, you chose to run away. Master will definitely come to kill you. You can't escape. The nascent soul realm expert instantly crushed a talisman in his hand. It turned into a green smoke. When Lin Fei saw this, he cursed inwardly. He did not expect the other party to have such a move. He took the storage ring and immediately left. Who killed my son? I want you to pay with your life. At this moment, a loud voice echoed throughout the entire Nanyun County. Countless experts were alarmed. An expert from Nanyun City flew out. Like a stream of light, many experts recognized him at a glance. This person was the third expert, Heavenly Lion Nascent Soul Realm expert. What's going on? Who killed Heavenly Lion's son? Isn't he a little too daring? This is great. That person probably can't run far now. Lord Tianluo was actually killed. Something big happened. The news spread in an instant. Countless people were shocked. Who didn't know that Heavenly Lion Nascent Soul Realm expert only had this one son, and the one he doted on the most? In the end, he was actually killed in the Nanyun County. Wasn't this a monstrous disaster? After Heavenly Lion Nascent Soul Realm expert chased after him, countless figures followed. These were all good friends of Heavenly Lion Nascent Soul Realm expert. Naturally, they came to help. Along the way, they came to see who was so bold. Chapter 44:31. The entire Nanyun region was in an uproar. The Heavenly Lion made a move. Countless people were shocked, but even more incredulity arose in their hearts. Under such circumstances, there was actually someone who dared to kill the son of the Heavenly Lion. Wasn't this the same as provoking a tiger? When the Heavenly Lion was angry, even 9 bulls couldn't hold him back. In the Nanyun region, everyone gave him some face. Lin Fei knew that there was a bit of trouble when he heard the voice. That's right, it was just a bit of trouble. Although his opponent was a nascent soul powerhouse, most likely a late stage or even a full-fledged nascent soul cultivator, Lin Fei still had the strength to fight. The God Tree of Life had grown a lot, so Lin Fei's physical body naturally improved a lot. Coupled with his growth speed and movement technique, he naturally wouldn't be afraid of nascent soul cultivators. Lin Fei didn't stop either. He used his movement technique and moved quickly. This movement technique was very fast, not slower than moving a treasure. Of course, this was the benefit of having a strong physical body. It was a pity that Lin Fei's physical body hadn't reached its peak yet. Otherwise, once he used his secret technique, he would be able to travel thousands of miles in an instant and no one would be able to catch up. The Heavenly Lion followed along and naturally saw his son's corpse. His eyes were bloodshot. His son, Tianluo, was his inheritor. He didn't expect him to die in front of him. He waved his hand to keep the corpse and chased after Tianluo. The positioning was very accurate and there was no deviation at all. But as he chased, he found some problems. Because the opponent's speed was a bit fast, even with his full strength, he couldn't catch up. He couldn't help but frown. Just which damned old thing dared to be so ruthless towards my son? No matter what, I will uproot the power and clan behind you. The Heavenly Lion immediately thought that the opponent was his enemy. Only those enemies would dare to do such a thing. The inheritance was broken. Then the Heavenly Lion naturally wouldn't be polite. He would definitely destroy all of the opponent's forces. This was the only way he could vent the anger in his heart. The more he chased, the more he couldn't catch up. This gave the Heavenly Lion a bigger headache. If they couldn't catch up to him, it would be troublesome once he entered another county city. After all, if a nascent soul powerhouse like him entered another county city, he would be targeted by other nascent soul powerhouses. Even though he did not do anything, it was hard to guarantee that no one would do anything in the dark. Therefore, he had to stop these people in the southern Cloud County first. Sky Lion immediately took out his communicator and sent a message to his good friend. Let them block the path ahead. That was the only way to stop them. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to catch up. The nascent soul realm cultivators who had caught up from behind were also dumbfounded. The Heavenly Lion actually did not catch up to the other party. This was because it used a treasure. His speed was top-notch. It was indeed quite surprising that he couldn't catch up. At this moment, Lin Fei's speed had reached its limit. Suddenly, a ripple appeared in front of him and countless beams of light shot over. "Sir, you should stay here and wait. Someone wants to see you." The aura of a nascent soul powerhouse appeared in front of him. There was indeed a nascent soul powerhouse who stopped Lin Fei. He didn't want Lin Fei to leave. Lin Fei wasn't surprised at all. After all, it was normal to be targeted. Especially in the southern Cloud County, it would be abnormal if there weren't a few experts. Lin Fei didn't say a word and attacked. The nascent soul realm powerhouse obviously didn't expect the sword lights to arrive in an instant. This person attacked in an instant. As soon as he took out the treasure, his body was hit by a series of attacks, causing his expression to change drastically, because the armor on his body was actually cut open, leaving behind many cracks. "Damn it, you actually have an insightful void weapon. What the hell?" Lin Fei relied on his movement technique to get close to the nascent soul powerhouse. With the Tong Tian sword in hand, coupled with the 5 elements sword intent, his strength became even stronger. He easily broke through the opponent's defense. In an instant, the nascent soul powerhouse's expression changed, and he retreated. He knew that he was in big trouble. After all, a person with an insightful void weapon wasn't easy to deal with. If he was not careful, he might suffer a huge loss today. More importantly, the opponent's sword technique was too fast. He could only passively block and block. If he knew this would happen, he would have scrammed as far as he could. Lin Fei's sword technique was unbelievably fast. He suppressed the opponent and attacked fiercely. The nascent soul powerhouse felt a chill in his heart. How did such an expert appear? He couldn't hold on at all. Cracks appeared on the armor on his body, and his heart was bleeding. After all, it wasn't easy for a nascent soul powerhouse's armor to be obtained. But now, under such a fierce attack, the cracks were shocking. If it was an ordinary armor, it would have been easily broken by the opponent. He had probably died countless times already. Even now, he was barely holding on. Just as Lin Fei was about to make his move, another figure from the mathematics path chased after him. In an instant, he attacked. "Dao Friend Fong, don't panic. We are here to help you." These nascent soul powerhouses were friends with the Heavenly Lion. Naturally, they didn't mind doing him a favor. But when they saw that a nascent soul powerhouse was actually defeated, they were shocked and wanted to take down the opponent. In an instant, Lin Fei was besieged by several nascent soul powerhouses. Among these nascent soul powerhouses, the weakest was in the middle stage of the nascent soul realm. There were even some in the late stage of the nascent soul realm. The pressure was still quite great. Lin Fei attacked one person fiercely. It was the nascent soul powerhouse who was previously called Dao Friend Fong. The nascent soul powerhouse, surnamed Fong, was cursing in his heart. He couldn't block it at all. Clatter! The armor was broken. A sword pierced through his body. Then, Lin Fei's fist landed on the opponent's body. Endless power surged out and instantly blew up a nascent soul powerhouse. "You dare to block my way, this is the result." The nascent soul powerhouses who were still attacking Lin Fei were all dumbfounded. Their movements slowed down. A nascent soul powerhouse in the middle stage was killed just like that, and it happened right under their noses. This was simply slapping them in the face, countless times. For a moment, they all felt that their strength had been cultivated in vain. They couldn't even take down a person. He instantly understood that this person was definitely a veteran Yuaniing stage powerhouse. Otherwise, there was no way he would have such strength. At this time, they were a little regretful. If they knew this would happen, they wouldn't have made a move. Such a person, if they were alone, they wouldn't have been his opponent. Although Lin Fei seemed to be injured, no matter how they looked at it, it didn't seem to be a big deal. Just as these people were delaying, the Heavenly Lion finally caught up. "You killed my son. Today, I will take your life to pay for it." A stream of light directly attacked. It turned out to be the treasure of the Heavenly Lion. The meteor all arrived in an instant, like lightning. It brought up a whirlpool and shattered the void. Lin Fei turned around and slashed at the meteor all. "So what if I killed your son? If you don't listen to me, I will still kill you. So what if you are in the late stage of the nascent soul realm?" Chapter 4432. Lin Fei's words stunned everyone on the spot, as if they had heard wrongly. That was a late-stage, nascent soul realm expert. The name of Heavenly Lion. Who didn't know of him in the southern Cloud County? Someone actually said such words to him. This was no less than a slap to their faces. As for the few nascent soul realm experts who besieged Lin Fei just now, they finally heaved a sigh of relief. They retreated one after another. At this time, they really didn't want Heavenly Lion to make a move. Anyway, they didn't have the guts. Didn't he see that a nascent soul realm expert was killed? It wasn't easy for them to cultivate to this realm. In the blink of an eye, one of them was killed. Just thinking about it was a little frightening. Fortunately, the fight didn't last long. If it were any longer, they wouldn't be able to stop him at all. This person was definitely a veteran expert. He might even be a peak nascent soul realm expert. At this moment, the Heavenly Lion was also very angry, but then he suddenly frowned. He smelled the smell of blood in the air. This guy killed again. He swept his gaze across and saw these good friends, but immediately realized that something was wrong, because one of his good friends seemed to be gone. His heart couldn't help but skip a beat. He couldn't say that this person killed him, right? That was a nascent soul realm expert. "No matter what you say, my son was killed by you. You have to give me an explanation for this matter. Why don't you follow me back now, or I will do it myself." Lin Fei laughed. "Forget it, I will do it myself." He instantly attacked. The life-taking sword was slashed one after another, emitting a terrifying aura of death. In an instant, it exploded to the extreme. In an instant, a sword shadow appeared in front of Heavenly Lion. His movements were slower by a beat. Although he was a late-stage nascent soul realm expert, speed was never his forte. The other party had already arrived in front of him. A faint light blocked in front of him, but it immediately shattered. Heavenly Lion's body was hit by dozens of swords. Every sword cut through his treasured armor, and his heart was instantly stupefied. Insightful void weapon. This kid actually has an insightful void weapon. The Heavenly Lion had suffered a great loss in just one encounter. "If you don't show me your true abilities, then you're dead meat." Lin Fei's mastery of life-taking sword had reached the point of perfection. In addition to this insightful void weapon, it could be said that he could kill people with a single sword strike. His prowess was greatly boosted. The Heavenly Lion instantly fell into a disadvantageous position. The cracks on the treasured armor reached deep into its depths. Even the people in the distance were secretly sucking in a breath of cold air. Who would have thought that this person was actually an expert in close combat with a sword? This sword technique was unbelievably fast, and they couldn't keep up with it. If they were to encounter him, they would not be a match for him. No wonder this person dared to kill Tianshir's son, Lord Tianluo. He must have been too arrogant and was killed by the other party. He really deserved it. The more the Heavenly Lion resisted, the harder it became. The other party's sword intent was too fast. Basically, he couldn't block every single sword. In any case, he was always slower by a beat. The other party came from all directions and moved at an astonishing speed. His advantage was gone in an instant, and he felt extremely aggrieved. He finally understood why a nascent soul cultivator was killed. He couldn't withstand it at all. The defense of the treasured armor on his body was quite strong, but he couldn't use this technique at all. As the saying goes, one wrong step leads to many mistakes. His mistake was quite ridiculous. He couldn't beat him. He really couldn't beat him. The Heavenly Lion didn't dare to continue fighting. This person was really too strong. Just this sword technique alone was enough to make him unable to withstand it. At that time, he would be killed by the other party if he was careless. Gritting his teeth, he took out a talisman and instantly pinched it. His entire body turned into a green smoke and disappeared. The scene of the Heavenly Lion made the nascent soul experts present dumbfounded. They couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Lin Fei's attack failed. The Heavenly Lion expert in front of him had already disappeared. His gaze swept across coldly. "Everyone, do you also intend to come up and try my sword technique? If that's the case, then you can come up. I'm quite an easy person to talk to." The nascent soul experts of the Nanyan County didn't dare to move. Even the Heavenly Lion couldn't withstand it and used his treasure to escape. If they came up, wouldn't they be looking for trouble? "My family's rice has just been cooked. I have to go back and take a look." "You have also cooked. I have also cooked. Let's all leave together." "My family's clothes haven't been collected yet." "My disciple seems to be sick. I have to go back and take a look at him." One after another, in the blink of an eye, these Yuanying stage masters dispersed. No one dared to stay on the spot. Lin Fei's surroundings became empty. He shook his head slightly. He really overestimated these nascent soul experts. They actually didn't even have the guts to do this. In the blink of an eye, they all ran away. Of course, this also made Lin Fei understand one thing. It was naturally different with an insightful void weapon in his hands. Under normal circumstances, the treasured armor of a nascent soul expert wouldn't be easy to break. But now, these treasured armors were easily broken. A good weapon was indeed very useful. Of course, Lin Fei also knew that if he had an insightful void weapon, he would definitely be targeted by other nascent soul experts. As long as it wasn't a top-grade weapon, there really wasn't much to care about. Lin Fei also quickly left. The experts in the Nanyan County all thought that the Heavenly Lion could catch up with the person who attacked. But in the end, an unimaginable news spread. The Heavenly Lion was not that person's opponent. Instead, he escaped. Even the nascent soul experts in the Nanyan County were not willing to make a move. All of a sudden, everyone was dumbfounded, as if they had heard wrongly. They really suffered a huge setback. There was even news that the person had an insightful void weapon. A golden core cultivator had an insightful void weapon, and he could even unleash terrifying swordsmanship and speed. Such a monstrous person instantly caused countless people to speculate, but no one chased after him. And such news spread like wildfire in the Nanyan County. Even the nascent soul expert, the Heavenly Lion, directly chose to stay in his house. No one knew what this person was thinking, what he wanted to do, but everyone knew that he had suffered a huge loss this time. His son was killed, and even he wasn't a match for the person. If not for his good luck, he might not have been able to return. No matter which news it was enough to move them. Of course, the news had also spread to the nearby counties. Everyone just chuckled and didn't think much of it. A golden core expert holding an insightful void weapon. How ridiculous and unbelievable was this? However, some people began to appear in the Nanyan County. These people came and disappeared quickly. No one knew what they were doing. Chapter 44:33 Tong Tian County. This was the county city where the Tong Tian School was located. Heavens Reaching Prefecture, which was named after the Heavens Reaching Church, was also the most meaningful one among all the prefectures. It was also one of the top 3 among the top 10 counties. Nanyuan County paled in comparison to Tongtian County. The difference was like the distance between heaven and earth. Compared to Tongtian County, who didn't know about the Tongtian School? It was one of the top 10 immortal sections. Joining the top 10 immortal sects would give one a chance to reach the pinnacle. It would also give one a chance to become an immortal. In the spiritual realm, everyone hoped to break through to become an immortal. However, it was too difficult to become an immortal. Even so, the top 10 immortal sects were still the sects that had the highest chance of becoming an immortal. Anyone who came from the 10 great immortal sects had great backgrounds and statuses. Who wouldn't be courteous to them when they were outside? The closest city to the Tongtian school was called Yuanyang City. This Yuanyang City was very big and lively. In an inn, many people were eating, drinking, and chatting. Suddenly, one of them said, "Have you heard? Recently, something interesting happened in Nanyuan County. I heard that a gold core expert slapped the face of a heavenly lion nascent soul expert. It is said that he even killed a nascent soul expert. Now, the entire Nanyuan County is in an uproar. It was unknown who suddenly mentioned it, but it attracted the attention of many people. I know about it. My friend's brother's brother is in Nanyuan County. I heard that it was a big deal. That heavenly lion is a nascent soul late-stage expert. His son was killed, and even he was slapped in the face. In the end, he used a teleportation talisman to leave. That's not possible. A gold core expert is a match for a nascent soul late-stage expert. Even if he is at the peak of the gold core realm, it is impossible. This must be a rumor. I also think that this should be a rumor. If he is really that powerful, he would be able to break through to the nascent soul realm." Very quickly, there were people who took over and expressed their disapproval of his words. After all, Nanyuan County was a small place compared to Tongtian County. In Nanyuan County, a nascent soul late-stage expert was considered very powerful. But in the Tongtian County, a late-stage nascent soul cultivator was nothing more than an expert. There were emptiness realm experts in Tongtian County, the so-called insightful emptiness realm experts. Everyone knew that reaching the insightful void level was difficult, but here in the Tongtian County it wasn't difficult at all. On the contrary, it was very easy. For example, the sky-reaching church had many insightful emptiness realm experts. It was even rumored that they had super experts who had surpassed the insightful emptiness realm. Otherwise, how could Tongtian County maintain its position as one of the top 3 among the 10 major counties? Furthermore, they were from the 10 great immortal sects. Without some strength, how would they dare to shout out such a slogan? Sitting in an inconspicuous place, the black-cloaked man was quietly eating. This person was Lin Fei, who had come all the way here. After scaring away those nascent soul realm cultivators, Lin Fei went straight to Tongtian County. After passing through 3 counties, fortunately, they were all daunting but not dangerous. Finally, they arrived at the Heavens Span County. Yuanyang City was the closest place to the Heavens reaching church. He planned to gather some information here and see how he could enter the Heavens reaching church. Although he already had the Heavenly Master's token in his hands, he was afraid that there might be an accident if it was really that useful. Lin Fei came here to inquire about the news. Today was the 3rd day that he had come out to eat, but the information he had obtained was not much. I hope I can get some good information today. Lin Fei prayed in his heart and picked up a mouthful of food. At this time, he heard a voice, which made him frown slightly. "Have you heard? The Heavens Reaching Church is going to recruit disciples again." "It can't be. It's happening again so soon. Didn't they say it's once every 5 years? I think it's only the 3rd year now," someone asked curiously, and one of the late-stage gold core experts, who obviously had a high status here, said proudly, "That's because you don't know. My relative is a personal disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church. I heard that this time it's the 3,000th birthday of a patriarch of the Heavens Reaching Church. Therefore, they will recruit disciples temporarily. If you want to be apprenticed, you should seize the opportunity. Lin Fei had been in the spiritual realm for a long time. Naturally, he knew that the lifespan of the practitioners in the spiritual realm was very long. However, it was not easy to live to 3,000 years old. He could be said to be an old expert. It turns out that it's the patriarch's 3,000th birthday. No wonder he wants to recruit disciples. I have to go and have a try. I heard that with the Heaven's Apprentice Order, I can be apprenticed to a sect. I don't know whether it's true or not. I have to get one first. Someone had mentioned the Heavenly Apprenticeship Order. Lin Fei suddenly became spirited. He had a Heaven's Apprentice Order in his hand. If this Heaven's Apprentice Order could be used, it couldn't be better. If it couldn't be used, he had to find another way. The Heaven's Apprentice Order you mentioned is a thing of the past. Don't think that with the Heaven's Apprentice Order, you can be apprenticed to the Heavens Reaching Church. That's a thing of the past. Since 100 years ago, the Heavens Reaching Church has not fulfilled this promise. The Gold Core expert said with a smile, I heard that as long as you hold the Heaven's Apprentice Order and go to the Heavens Reaching Church, you can only get a cultivation method at most. Of course, you can also have an advantage over others. That is, you can participate in the assessment. If you pass the assessment, you really have the opportunity to be apprenticed to the Heavens Reaching Church. This is also a small advantage over others. Lin Fei had already expected this. He knew that the effect of the Heaven's Apprentice Order would not be so good. After all, Nanyun County was a small county city. There were a few counties in between. It was very normal for the news to be misleading. Lin Fei felt that it was a pity that he got the Heaven's Apprentice Order for nothing, but it didn't have any effect. Of course, the only thing that made Lin Fei feel lucky was that with the Heaven's Apprentice Order, he could be one step ahead of others, which was a small advantage. Don't think about being apprenticed to the Heavens Reaching Church. This time, ordinary people don't have the opportunity. He has sent an invitation letter to the first and second-rate forces. Only those who get the invitation letter have the opportunity to enter the Heavens Reaching Church. The Gold Core expert seemed to know a lot of news, and spat out another piece of news. Lin Fei frowned slightly. After thinking about it, he understood what was going on. It should be a signal sent by the old ancestor to the forces of the Heavens Reaching County. For those people of the big forces, it was definitely an opportunity. I'd better wait for the recruitment 5 years later. This time it's a competition for the disciples of families with powerful backgrounds. I heard that those disciples of families are coming to the Heavens Reaching Church. Chapter 44:34. For Lin Fei, it was very useful to get such a piece of information. At least he knew one thing, and that was that the Heavenly Apprentice Order was not that useful. Of course, another thing was that he had the opportunity to join the Heavenly Reaching Church. No, to join the Heavenly Reaching Church. Lin Fei was not too interested in being a disciple. If not for the treasures left by the heavenly tree in the Heavenly Reaching Church, Lin Fei would not even bother to come here. But for him, if he wanted to improve his strength faster, only the heavenly tree had the ability to do so. If he missed this opportunity, he would have to wait for another 2 years. Although 2 years was not a long time, Lin Fei did not want to waste a single second. After all, he had caused quite a commotion in Nanyun Prefecture. Who knew if the Heavenly Lion would find someone to deal with him? Therefore, he had to take precautions against this matter as soon as possible. He heard them disperse. Lin Fei came down from the restaurant, his brows furrowed. He felt that if he wanted to join the Heavenly Reaching Church, he had to find a more reliable way. From the words of those people, Lin Fei was more certain of one thing. That was the Heavenly Reaching Church. They were probably taking back the Heavenly Apprentice Order, but it was not possible to let these people join the Heavenly Reaching Church. After all, the Heavenly Reaching Church was not like the past, which had become one of the top 10 immortal sects and was famous. Naturally, they could not casually accept people. Therefore, Lin Fei decided to give the opportunity to join the Heavenly Reaching Church to these geniuses. It would be great if he could get an invitation from them. This way, he would have a greater chance. Who knew if he would be treated well if he took the Heavenly Apprentice order? If the difficulty of the test increased, it would be the biggest trouble. And it was more conspicuous. Therefore, it was very reasonable to use this invitation to join the Heavenly Reaching Church. Lin Fei left Yuanyang City. He decided to find a few people near the Heavenly Reaching Church. As for who he could find, it would depend on his luck. Anyway, he was targeted by him, so he had to hand over the invitation. At the same time, on the other side, in front of an inconspicuous house, a figure appeared in front of him. He gently knocked on the door. An old woman came out. "Come in." He turned around and walked back. At this moment, the figure outside the door also walked in. It was like a small tavern. It was very quiet, and there was a lantern hanging on the wall. "I want to kill someone." His voice was very hoarse. If Lin Fei was here, he would have recognized it. This person was the Heavenly Lion. He was right. The Heavenly Lions were indeed going to take revenge. He had become a huge joke in the Southern Cloud County. A late nascent soul realm cultivator was actually scared off by a golden core realm kid. He even used a teleportation talisman. This was the shame of the Heavenly Lion's entire life. "I want to kill a guy called Lin Fei." In order to kill Lin Fei, Sky Lion gritted his teeth and came to the Twilight Tavern. He was right. It was called the Twilight Tavern. It was a very nice name, but under this nice name, there was another name that made people tremble in fear. The Dusk Tavern was an organization of assassins. Their strength was inferior to the top 10 immortal sections. It could be said that no one who was targeted by the Dusk Tavern could survive. But if he wanted the people of the Dusk Tavern to kill someone, the price was very high. Even a nascent soul realm cultivator would feel the pain. The Heavenly Lion couldn't suppress his anger this time. No matter what, he wanted Lin Fei to die. As long as Lin Fei didn't die, his heart would not be at peace. "Are you sure that the person you want to kill is called Lin Fei?" "Wait a minute, we will help you check." The Heavenly Lion didn't wait for long. Not even half an incense stick of time had passed. There was an answer. "The Lin Fei you want to kill is a very mysterious guy. He is very strong, and the peak of the Golden Core Realm is not the end. His strength can reach the middle or even the late nascent Soul Realm. He is also very good at keeping his life. So if you want to kill this person, the price is not small. Are you sure you want to kill this person?" The Heavenly Lion took a deep breath. "I am sure that I want to kill this person. No matter the price, even if I have to sell everything, I will kill this person." Killing this Lin Fei only requires 10 upper-grade spirit stones. 10 upper-grade spirit stones were equivalent to 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. Of course, this was the exchange, but upper-grade spirit stones were too difficult to find, so the price was already quite expensive. Although the Heavenly Lion was prepared, he couldn't help but take a deep breath. In the end, he gritted his teeth and took out 10 upper-grade spirit stones. "I don't know how long it will take me to see Lin Fei's body. The shortest is 1 month, the longest is 3 months. I will definitely bring this person to you. This is the promise of the Dusk Tavern." "I believe you." The Heavenly Lion turned around and left. After the Heavenly Lion left, the news spread in an instant. Of course, as for Lin Fei, he was completely unaware of it. He didn't know that he was targeted by the Dusk Tavern. It was a special force that was on par with the top 10 immortal sections. Even the top 10 immortal sects couldn't do anything to the Dusk Tavern. They even tried to annihilate them a few times, but it was still useless. Instead, they had to pay a painful price. After a long time, they finally minded their own business, and no one could do anything to the other. The Dusk Tavern wouldn't easily make a move on the people of the top 10 immortal sects, and the top 10 immortal sects wouldn't make things difficult for the Dusk Tavern either. This formed a very harmonious scene. Lin Fei was already close to the sky-reaching church, but he wasn't very close. He was hundreds of kilometers away. The closer he got, the more he could feel the extraordinariness of the sky-reaching church. Lin Fei secretly sucked in a breath of cold air as he sensed the powerful aura that was extremely obscure. He knew that this was the true confidence of the top 10 immortal sections. They were indeed powerful and invincible. It was no wonder that the sky-reaching church could become one of the top 10 immortal sections. They lived up to their name, and no one dared to provoke them. Lin Fei began to search silently in this area. However, after pondering for a while, he felt that something was wrong. The distance was too close. Once he made a move, he would be noticed. Therefore, he chose a direction. He decided to intercept them 100,000 kilometers away. As for whether he could successfully intercept them or not, it was purely a matter of luck. If he made a move at such a distance, he could completely suppress the movement. This was definitely a good thing for Lin Fei. After waiting for a few days, no one passed by at all. Even if there were, it would be a large group, and they wouldn't dare to make a move easily. After all, if these people were killed, there would definitely be some movement. If they had a big background, it would naturally cause trouble. Therefore, if Lin Fei wanted to find someone, he would look for those who were very inconspicuous. He didn't believe that all the people who came would come in such a mighty and menacing manner. Wait, I think I heard something. On a towering tree. Lin Fei suddenly stood up and frowned slightly. He actually felt the aura of energy fluctuations. Someone was making a move nearby. Chapter 44:35. Lin Fei did hear the noise, and the energy fluctuation wasn't small. It was a gold core expert. Of course, there was also the aura of a nascent soul powerhouse, which was very eye-catching. Without saying a word, Lin Fei directly followed the aura fluctuation. He had to understand the situation first. There were actually people fighting in such a place. This shouldn't be a small matter. Second young master, I can only say that you are unlucky. This time, I can't give you the opportunity to enter the heaven-reaching church. A cold voice was heard. Then there was another voice, which seemed very angry and unwilling. You were sent by Big Brother. How can he do this? I am from the Lin family. This place is originally mine. No one can take it away. Lin Fei was very fast. In a few breaths, he arrived at the place where the fight took place. He stood on a tree. There were many corpses lying in front of him. Obviously, they had been dead for a long time. At this time, the most eye-catching thing was that a middle-aged man had pierced a young man's chest with a sword. The young man didn't die on the spot, but he was about to. His eyes were red, and he stared at the middle-aged man in front of him with anger and unwillingness. The Lin family doesn't need people like you, so you have to give up this place. The young master will come to take this invitation letter soon. At that time, he will attend on behalf of the Lin family. The middle-aged man said coldly again. Lin Fei, who was in the tree, understood what was going on. It was the so-called family infighting again. Obviously, this guy in front of him was killed by the so-called Big Brother. What he wanted was that invitation letter. After all, with this invitation letter, he would have the opportunity to enter the heaven-reaching church. If he could successfully become a disciple, he would be able to enter the top 10 immortal sects. It could be said that he had reached the sky in one step. Such an opportunity was actually given to a junior in the family instead of the so-called Big Brother. This naturally caused the so-called Big Brother to be angry and dissatisfied. He secretly tried to kill him. He was prepared to act first and report later. He wanted to cook the raw rice into rice first. Once he entered the heaven-reaching church, even if the family knew, they would only turn a blind eye to it. Lin Fei had seen this kind of situation many times. If it weren't for the words invitation letter, Lin Fei wouldn't have taken it seriously. With this invitation, things would be different. After the sword was pulled out, the person called Lin Yun's eyes dimmed and he stopped breathing. The middle-aged man took the storage ring from the man. He then took out an invitation from his storage ring. This invitation letter was quite different because it was specially made by the heavens-reaching church, and outsiders could not imitate it. Finally, I've got it. I can explain it to the young master. Lin Yun, you're not qualified to join the sky-reaching church. Don't even think about it. No one in the family will allow you to join the sky-reaching church, you bastard. The middle-aged man packed up his things and prepared to leave. He welcomed the young master. As long as they had this invitation, there were no requirements on the invitation at all, because the heavens-reaching church only recognized people by this invitation letter. Not bad. It seems like you've done this a lot. Just as the middle-aged man turned around, a ray of sword light leisurely arrived. It slashed across his neck. The middle-aged man saw a figure standing in front of him. He didn't even know when the other party appeared. His whole body turned black and he completely lost consciousness. It was naturally Lin Fei. A nascent soul realm master like him couldn't resist the power of Lin Fei's sword if he wasn't prepared. Not only did he obtain the storage ring, but he also obtained the invitation letter. This invitation letter was indeed different. It seems that I'm lucky to get an invitation letter. This family infighting finally benefited me, but I still have to clean up the so-called young master. Otherwise, it will be really troublesome. Lin Fei quickly scanned the contents of the invitation letter. Fortunately, there was no special rule on who should go. This invitation letter was sent to the so-called Lin family. The Lin family could send whoever they wanted. This was quite satisfactory for Lin Fei. When he entered the heavens-reaching church, he would have nothing to worry about. Lin Fei's sword intent swept and buried all these corpses. Then he turned around and began to prepare. He knew that the middle-aged man must have sent a message. As for where they would meet, it should not be far. Therefore, all Lin Fei had to do was to wait for the rabbit. A few days later, there was really a group of people in this area. The leader was a young man who was a little similar to the so-called Lin Yun, and the aura on his body was almost the same. Naturally, Lin Fei did not hold back and attacked, wiping out all of these people. For him, killing these people was just a matter of a few swords, and it wouldn't take long. But for Lin Fei, it would solve a big problem. After killing them, Lin Fei decisively destroyed the corpses. He didn't even leave a trace of clues. He would hide for as long as he could. After all, the spiritual world was more or less dangerous. Who knew what accidents could happen? Lin Fei was completely relieved. With this invitation, Lin Fei went straight to the sky-reaching church. Along the way, he made some slight changes, especially his face. Lin Fei had mastered a lot of secret methods. Therefore, he used a secret technique called the rebirth technique to slightly transform himself. At first glance, he might be a little similar to Lin Yun, but his aura was also a little similar. No one could figure out the reason. Even if the sky-reaching church was guarded by the ancestor, Lin Fei was very confident. After confirming that there was no problem, Lin Fei rushed to the sky-reaching church. At the foot of the mountain gate of the sky-reaching church, a lot of people had gathered here, one wave after another. They all entered the sky-reaching church with an invitation. After arriving here, Lin Fei realized that the sky-reaching church was really rich, occupying an area of tens of thousands of miles. The whole mountain gate was surrounded by clouds and mist, just like a fairyland. From time to time, people could see mascots. Each mascot had a great origin and background. It could be seen that the sky-reaching church was really different. When Lin Fei came to the foot of the mountain, he could feel the emotion of the divine tree of life. It was a very excited emotion, which also made Lin Fei more sure that there must be a lot of treasures left by the divine tree of life in the sky-reaching church. There were even other things. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Fei wanted to enter the sky-reaching church more than anyone else. as long as he entered the sky-reaching church. His divine tree of life was very likely to improve rapidly and grow up. Chapter 44:36. After seeing this scene, Lin Fei was even more glad that he had gotten the invitation letter. Otherwise, it would not have been easy for him to come here. Lin Fei used the rebirth secret method to simply disguise himself. When he stood there, he did not attract anyone's attention. Although some people glanced at him gently, they did not stay for a long time. Lin Fei was already prepared. He decided to pretend to be a disciple of the Lin family with a new identity. After killing the Lin family, Lin Fei deliberately searched the Lin family with a soul-searching skill. He really knew something about the Lin family. There were many disciples in the Lin family, and Lin Yin was just a concubine. She didn't have any status. He was very talented. Therefore, it was not a surprise that there was one more disciple of the Lin family. Lin Fei decided to use his real name, Lin Fei. As for the slight change in his appearance, he naturally wouldn't be noticed by others. Standing at the foot of the mountain, someone soon came to greet him. First, he showed his invitation letter. After some registration, he was taken in. There was also a disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church to lead the way. Our Heavens Reaching Church is different from other places. After coming to the Heavens Reaching Church, you can move freely, but you can't go to some places. Once you break into the sex formation, even if your family members come, they can't save you. You should remember this clearly. The disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church, who led the way, was an inner disciple. His strength was not very strong. He was only at the middle stage of the Gold Core Realm. However, this middle stage of the Gold Core Realm was more powerful than the middle stage of the Gold Core Realm outside. He was almost at the late stage of the Gold Core Realm. His strength should not be underestimated. As soon as Lin Fei entered the Heavens Reaching Church, he felt that it was very unusual. It was a blessed place. Practicing here would yield twice the result with half the effort. Of course, this was not too interesting for Lin Fei. His greatest interest was to get the treasures of the Heavens Reaching Church. The more he entered the Heavens Reaching Church, the more he could feel the existence of those treasures. This is sect leader Tong Tian, the first ancestor of our sky-reaching church. His strength was unfathomable. In the end, he became an immortal. Even though he was an immortal, he was a top-notch immortal. In the end, he crossed the boundary and left. Lin Fei and the others followed them to the square of the Heavens Reaching Church. There was a statue that was 100,000 feet tall, and it gave off a majestic aura. Standing there, it was like a peerless expert, causing people to shiver. At the same time, they felt a trace of respect for it. Lin Fei was shocked when he saw the statue of the Tongtian sect master. He sensed a terrifying sealing power from the statue of Tongtian. Although there was only a trace of it, in Lin Fei's opinion, this trace of power could kill all the experts once it was unleashed. There was no doubt that this should be the power left by Tongtian before he left. It was definitely the power of an immortal. The 10 great immortal sects are indeed different. To think that they would have such a trump card up their sleeves. If an immortal were to make a move, he would definitely suffer a huge loss, let alone other people. Their position is very stable. Lin Fei withdrew his gaze. He originally thought that the statue was already very powerful, but he did not expect that something not far away made Lin Fei slightly surprised. Daoist friend, may I ask what that is? It looks extraordinary. Lin Fei suddenly asked. The leading gold core disciple looked back. After seeing that thing, he couldn't help but say with a smile, "Your Excellency, you have a good eye. That's the origin of our sky-reaching school. It's a sky-reaching tree, but it's already dead." What Lin Fei saw was a sky-reaching tree. The sky-reaching tree was almost 300 meters tall, but there was no aura of life on it at the moment. It just stood there. At this time, a young man next to him said with a smile, "I've heard of the sky-reaching tree. It's said that it fell in our spiritual realm and was considered the #1 divine tree." One can comprehend many sky-reaching secret techniques by cultivating on the sky-reaching tree. Unfortunately, after several battles, the sky-reaching tree died. I'm not sure if this is the sky-reaching tree that was left behind. The gold core disciple said with a smile, "You're right. This is indeed a sky-reaching tree. It's used as a souvenir." Lin Fei did not expect to see such a huge sky-reaching tree here. It was only 300 meters tall, but it was well preserved. The tree of life had already released a strong emotion. Lin Fei suppressed it with great difficulty and told the tree of life that there was no hurry. Sooner or later, it would completely refine and absorb this sky-reaching tree. You've seen a lot of sky-reaching tokens, sky-reaching master token, and other things. They were all taken from the sky-reaching tree and refined. The sky-reaching church, disciples said again. If you're interested in this sky-reaching tree, you'll naturally have a chance to know it after you join the sky-reaching church. Now, I'll take you to your resting place. The interior of the sky-reaching church was very large. Not long after, they flew to an area. This area had pavilions and waterside pavilions. It was very extraordinary. This is the resting place we use to entertain our distinguished guests. You can stay here for the time being. Lin Fei and the others were arranged to stay in a room. There was also a butler here. If there was anything they needed, they could inform the butler. Lin Fei moved in smoothly. He was not in a hurry to go out. On the contrary, some disciples of various families began to wander in the sky-reaching church. The sky-reaching church was bigger than they had imagined. It had an area of tens of thousands of miles. There was also a city in the sky-reaching church, which was very lively. This was what Lin Fei found out after asking the butler. If you're bored, you can take a walk in the sky-reaching city. It's a relatively lively place. According to the butler, although they had come to the sky-reaching church, they still had to wait for some time. After all, it was not the day of the ancestors' 3,000th birthday banquet yet. During this period, in addition to practicing, they could also walk around the sky-reaching church. Therefore, after staying for 2 days, Lin Fei decided to go to the sky-reaching city to have a look, hoping to gain something. The sky-reaching church was somewhat different from what Lin Fei had imagined. It did not have such a great sex aura. It was like coming to an ordinary city. It was very lively, but most of the people were disciples of the sky-reaching church. These disciples not only opened shops here, but also took the initiative to sell things. Most of the disciples in the sky-reaching city were outer disciples. They were used to serve the inner disciples. In the sky-reaching church, there were 4 levels: outer disciples, inner disciples, personal disciples, and the last Holy Son. Outer disciples naturally had no future. However, they were treated well in the sky-reaching church. They could open shops to sell things. Therefore, the sky-reaching city was formed. Some of the shops selling goods here naturally had some inner sect disciples and elders supporting them from behind. Therefore, the sky-reaching city was also very complicated. Chapter 44:37. Heaven-reaching city was very lively. There were disciples of the heaven-reaching church everywhere. Every disciple of the heaven-reaching church had good strength. Lin Fei didn't have a purpose for coming here this time. He just wandered around casually. He went wherever he found interesting. He found a lot of things. During this period, he also met some talents of the first-rate and second-rate forces. These people were in groups of 3 to 5, and they even knew many people of the heaven-reaching church. Lin Fei did not pay much attention to them. He came to heaven-reaching city purely to join in the fun. He wanted to see what was there. What interested Lin Fei most was a street in heaven-reaching city. This street was very large, but there were all kinds of things being sold here. Those disciples of the heaven-reaching church sat down casually and put down their things, which formed a bazaar. As soon as Lin Fei came here, he saw a lot of things. There were elixirs, weapons, treasures, and so on. As long as you had enough spirit stones, you could buy them. Of course, these were not the only things that interested Lin Fei. Instead, it was the natural medicinal materials. Some of these medicinal materials were quite old. Since he knew that the divine tree of life could also absorb these natural medicinal materials, Lin Fei naturally also targeted these medicinal materials. The older the better. On the first day, Lin Fei harvested a medicinal material more than 5,000 years old. On the second day, he harvested 2 medicinal materials more than 3,000 years old. It was a good harvest. Although it had a little effect on the improvement of the divine tree of life, it was also a good thing. Therefore, on this day, Lin Fei came here early in the morning. He felt that he would be luckier and encounter more things early. Maybe he could find something good. As soon as he arrived in Sky Connect City, Lin Fei's brows furrowed slightly. However, they soon relaxed, because the divine tree of life had a slight fluctuation. This time, the fluctuation was very exciting. Lin Fei was happy for the first time. It seems that I'm lucky today. There should be something good here. It should be a medicinal material with a good age. Let me see what I can find today. To Lin Fei, this was definitely a big mistake. It would be great if he could pick it up. Moreover, the current Lin Fei was not short of spirit stones. He could be considered a nouveau riche. With the guidance of the divine tree of life, Lin Fei did not hesitate at all and headed straight into the depths. In an inconspicuous place, Lin Fei actually saw something that had stirred up the tree of life. It was a very ordinary medicinal herb that was casually placed there. If it wasn't for the tree of life sensing it, even Lin Fei wouldn't have been able to guarantee that this herb was good and valuable. This was because it was too ordinary. If it was thrown there, even 10 people might not be able to see it, not even Lin Fei. Fellow Taoist, isn't the price of your grass a little too high? It's actually marked at 10 middle-grade spirit stones. That's not cheap at all. Although this place was remote, several disciples of the Heavens Reaching Church had already arrived. These disciples were all looking at this grass because it was marked at 10 middle-grade spirit stones. This price was already very, very high, so it made them even more curious. Sitting there was a middle-aged man who was silent. Finally, he said coldly, "Anyway, it's only 10 middle-grade spirit stones. Take it or leave it." After that, he closed his mouth again. For the disciples of the Heavens Reaching Church, 10 middle-grade spirit stones for grass was very high. With this money, they could buy medicinal pills. Why would they waste their time on this grass? It was not worth it at all. Therefore, after looking at it for a while, he left. All of a sudden, it was empty again. Lin Fei hurriedly walked up to it. Standing in front of this grass, he carefully looked at it, although this grass looked very ordinary at first glance. However, Lin Fei could still see that something was amiss. This stalk of grass was extraordinary. It even possessed a hint of charm that was unique to the heavens and earth. No wonder this grass was marked at 10 middle-grade spirit stones. If he guessed correctly, this grass had at least lived for tens of thousands of years. It was at least 50,000 years old. This was the best medicinal herb that Lin Fei had encountered. "I want this grass." Lin Fei did not want to talk nonsense. After all, he had to buy such a grass. At this time, the middle-aged man was resting with his eyes closed. Hearing the voice, he suddenly raised his head and was a little surprised to see the young man in front of him. "You are not a disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church." Of course, Lin Fei was not a disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church because his clothes were different. He nodded slightly. "I am not a disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church. Does it have anything to do with me buying this grass?" The middle-aged man came to his senses at once. After all, the 3,000th birthday banquet of the old ancestor in the sect was about to begin. It was said that a batch of disciples was to be recruited. He was afraid that these disciples were sent by these family forces. "Are you sure you want to buy it for 10 middle-grade spirit stones? Don't regret after buying it. This grass is hard for me to pick." The middle-aged man did not expect that someone would buy it at such a high price. After all, he had snatched it from the hands of several nascent soul realm demonic beasts. He had put in a lot of effort and almost could not get it back. Therefore, he felt that this grass should be very valuable. However, he could not recognize what it was for a while. Lin Fei smiled and said, "Since I've already bought the thing that caught my eye, I will definitely not cause any more trouble for you. I can still afford 10 middle-grade spirit stones. After all, I'm not that poor." Lin Fei laughed and threw 10 middle-grade spirit stones to the middle-aged man and took the grass. The middle-aged man held the 10 middle-grade spirit stones in his hand and felt a little bit. It was like a dream. He actually sold this grass, just like that. Some people in the surroundings also noticed this scene. After all, they all knew that a grass cost 10 middle-grade spirit stones. They did not expect that someone would really buy it. It was really a case of having too much money and nowhere to go. If it were them, they would not buy it, even if they were beaten to death. 10 middle-grade spirit stones were enough to buy a magic weapon. Moreover, it was a powerful magic weapon. Which family's young master was this? He was actually so rich. He did not even blink and actually spent 10 middle-grade spirit stones to buy this grass. "Thank you for your support, Taoist." The middle-aged man kept the middle-grade spirit stones and thanked him profusely. These 10 middle-grade spirit stones would be of great help to him. After Lin Fei received this grass, he unexpectedly found out the name of this grass. This was the first time he encountered this grass. It turned out that this God Tree of Life had such a subtle effect. He originally thought that this grass was only 50,000 years old. He did not expect it to be 100,000 years old. This grass also had a big name. It was called Lucky Grass. Just when Lin Fei was about to look at it again, a figure came to Lin Fei's side. "Taoist, I don't know if you are selling this grass. I will pay 50 middle-grade spirit stones." Chapter 4438. Lin Fei was in a good mood at the moment. After all, he had encountered a 100,000-year-old herb. It was called Lucky Grass. The origin of the Lucky Grass was not simple, because it could increase the success rate of refining elixirs by a certain amount. It could be said to be a very rare treasure. However, this disciple of the heavens reaching church did not recognize it. Of course, for Lin Fei, this Lucky Grass was only for the divine Tree of Life to refine. As for refining elixirs, he really did not care that much. However, for those who could refine elixirs, this Lucky Grass was a priceless treasure. Not to mention other things, its value alone could increase a lot. At this moment, the middle-aged man had just put away the medium spirit stones. The next second, after hearing this voice, his entire face changed. He looked back and was shocked. After a while, he said in a low voice, "Elder Wang." The surrounding people also heard this voice and naturally recognized the person. It was Elder Wang, an expert in alchemy of the heavens, reaching church. This Elder Wang liked to search for all kinds of medicinal herbs in this area the most. He would appear from time to time, so everyone knew him. However, he did not expect that this grass, which was priced at 10 medium spirit stones, would actually become 50 medium spirit stones in the blink of an eye. Even the middle-aged man himself was shocked. He did not expect that the price he marked was a little low. Lin Fei looked back and saw a middle-aged man with a handlebar mustache. The elder one they were talking about frowned slightly. "Sorry, this grass is still useful to me, so I will not sell it." Elder Wang frowned slightly. "Then can you let me have a look at this grass? I think this grass looks like a grass that I know." Lin Fei also heard from the ears of the others that this Elder Wang was an alchemy master. He most likely recognized the use of this lucky grass. Of course, Lin Fei would not let him have a look. He was afraid that it would cause some trouble. He shook his head and said, "Sorry, I have already put this grass away. It is too troublesome to take it out. Moreover, I have already bought this grass. If you want to buy this grass, you can only try your luck." Elder Wang did recognize that this was the lucky grass, but he wasn't sure. Now that he heard what the other party said, He was even more certain that this was the lucky grass. He lamented that his luck was a little bad. He had actually come a step too late. Someone had beaten him to it, and it just had to be a young man. He was not a member of the Heavens Reaching Church, which made him a little unhappy. After all, the effects of a lucky grass were extremely great. When refining an ancestral cauldron, it would at least provide a certain probability of success, which was absolutely useful for alchemy experts. The middle-aged man immediately took out the middle-grade spirit stone. "Fellow Taoist, I'm sorry. I'm not selling this grass. Can I trouble you to return it to me?" How could Lin Fei not see that this middle-aged man wanted to curry favor with Elder Wang? He wanted to sell this grass to Elder Wang and leave a good impression. Elder Wang's face was obviously filled with joy. Lin Fei was not someone else. How could he return this grass to him? He did not lack these 10 middle-grade spirit stones. Therefore he chuckled and said, "I have already bought this grass. Now you want me to return it to you? What the hell is this? Does your Heavens Reaching Church intend to bully the weak?" As one of the top 10 immortal sects, Lin Fei naturally knew that they would not bully the weak. Especially at this time, if this matter was spread out, he would probably be laughed at to death. After hearing this, Elder Wang's face changed slightly. "Fellow Taoist, you misunderstood. How could our Heavens Reaching Church bully the weak? I'm just interested in this grass. How about we talk about it?" How could Elder Wang do such a thing? If it was somewhere else, he might have some ideas. However, in the Heavens Reaching Church, he really did not have any ideas. After all, this time, a lot of God's favored ones had come, and their backgrounds were not small. The Heavens Reaching Church was not afraid of them. However, if this matter was spread out, they would lose face. Although Elder Wang was also an elder in the Heavens Reaching Church, he was just an ordinary elder. If this matter was really blown out of proportion, he would naturally lose face. Therefore, he changed his idea. It was better to have a good talk with this young man in front of him. Lin Fei thought for a moment and was quite interested in this idea. After all, he did not know much about the Heavens Reaching Church. What he wanted was to refine something made of heavenly wood. Perhaps this person in front of him might know about it. "I saw a tea house over there. How about we have a seat together? Anyway, this grass is dispensable to me." When Elder Wang heard this, he heaved a sigh of relief. It would be great if he could get his hands on it. Although the price was a little high, it was still quite cost-effective. After all, this was a lucky grass. If other people knew about it, there would be another competition. "The tea in that tea house is quite good. We can go and have a taste." The two of them walked out of the street, one after another. They arrived at a nearby tea house. At this time, the tea house was very quiet. Elder Wang booked a private room with great familiarity and asked someone to serve tea and some snacks. "Fellow Taoist, you have good eyesight. You can even recognize this lucky grass. Ordinary people really can't," Elder Wang said after he sat down. Lin Fei said with a smile, "I've read a lot of ancient books, so I have a good understanding of these strange things. I didn't expect that I would be so lucky to encounter this lucky grass. I wonder how you plan to exchange for this lucky grass. Although this lucky grass is a little useless, it has a good effect when refining pills." Elder Wang also wanted to see how much Lin Fan knew about this lucky grass. It would be best if he could understand it in a short period of time. He would fool him if he could. But now, it seemed that he could not fool him at all. Lin Fan knew this lucky grass very well. If he didn't spend a lot of money, he might not be able to exchange for it. If he didn't know about it, it would be fine. No matter what, he had to exchange for it. After a long time, many people would come to snatch the lucky grass. It was quite disadvantageous to him. "I wonder what you want. Why don't you name a price first? As long as I can afford it, I will definitely satisfy you. After all, I, Elder Wang, am a man of my words in the Heaven Reaching Church." Lin Fei took out the lucky grass and put it on the table. He was not worried that the other party would snatch it away. No matter how fast he was, He couldn't be faster than his life-taking sword. I heard that the heaven-reaching church has refined a lot of treasures with the heaven-reaching tree. I'm quite interested in this. I wonder if Elder Wong has this way. If you do, then this lucky grass. Lin Fei picked up the cup, took a sip, and looked at Elder Wong with a smile. Chapter 4439. Wang Yin could not figure out where this kid came from. After all, there were quite a number of experts here this time around. Especially the geniuses. There were quite a number of capable ones. However, to be able to identify this lucky grass at this age, he must have read a lot of books and been studying for 5 years. Such a person was definitely rare, especially when he heard that the other party wanted to refine something from the heavenly tree. Wang Yin was very surprised. He was already prepared to be slashed by the other party. After all, this was a lucky grass. If he had this lucky grass, he would be more confident in refining pills. Especially recently, Wang Yin was preparing to refine a batch of high-grade pills. However, the ingredients were too hard to obtain. Therefore, he did not dare to open the furnace. However, with the lucky grass, it would be a completely different story. He could open the furnace with peace of mind. At the very least, he would have an 80% chance of refining a high-grade pill. The gains he would gain would be unimaginable. However, he did not expect this young man to not demand an exorbitant price, nor did he slash him. Instead, he wanted the item refined from the heavenly tree. To others, the item refined from the heavenly tree might be very rare. However, to Wang Yin, it was not too much of a problem. After all, he was an elder of the Heavenly Crossing Church. Although his position was not very high, it was not difficult for him to get his hands on this item. This was something that Wang Yin was confident of. Young man, are you sure you are not wrong? You want the item refined from the heavenly tree? Wang Yin asked again. He was afraid that he had heard wrongly. Therefore, his tone was a little nervous. Lin Fei smiled. I have admired the heavenly tree for a long time. Since I have such an opportunity, I naturally have to broaden my horizons. Furthermore, it is just a stalk of grass. What do you think? It is useless to me. This was the nicest sentence Wang Yin had ever heard. He could not help but laugh out loud. That's right. You're right. This grass is indeed useless to you. I'll definitely help you refine the items that you want from the heaven-reaching tree. However, with my abilities, I can only help you get 5 items at most. Wang Yin took a deep breath and raised 5 fingers. 5 items refined from the heavenly tree was indeed a lot. Lin Fei frowned slightly. This was more than he had imagined. However, when Wang Yin looked at it, his heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Could it be that the other party thought it was too little? Therefore, he added, how about this? I'll get you 8 pieces through my connections. Those heavenly reaching tokens can't be compared with them. They're definitely good stuff, which can only be obtained in the heavenly reaching church. That's right. Lin Fei was just a little surprised. After all, he could easily take out 5 treasures from the sky tree. It was definitely not something like the sky token. He was more expectant about the items of the heaven-reaching tree collected by the heaven-reaching church. He didn't expect that when he frowned, the other party would actually bring 8 of them. This really made Lin Fei very surprised and happy. He was not afraid of more. The more the better. That was not a problem at all. 10 pieces. I want 10 pieces. The heaven-reaching tree isn't something worth paying attention to anymore. As long as you give me 10 items refined from the heaven-reaching tree, this grass is yours. I'm a man of my word. If Lin Fei didn't ask for a few more treasures from the heaven-reaching tree, he wouldn't be Lin Fei. He believed that Wang Yin would definitely agree to it. Although 10 items from the heaven-reaching tree wasn't a lot, it would still require some time. However, Wang Yin still agreed to it quickly. He was afraid that the other party wouldn't be able to get it. If he were to look for someone else, there would definitely be a way to get it. It was just a small price to pay. To Wang Yin, this was nothing at all. 10 pieces then. No problem. I can pay you a deposit first. In order to prevent any unforeseen problems, Wang Yin took out 2 items from the heaven-reaching tree from the storage ring in his hand. They weren't heavenly-reaching tokens. One of them was a flying sword refined from the heaven-reaching tree, while the other was a huge disc refined from the heaven-reaching tree. Both were treasures. They could be considered as low-grade magic treasures. In the spiritual world, these weren't unremarkable at all. After all, magic treasures could be categorized into low-grade, middle-grade, high-grade, and supreme-grade magic treasures. Above that would be void treasures. Therefore, low-grade magic treasures were really unremarkable. Of course, since they could be refined from the heaven-reaching tree, they would naturally have certain level of capability. I'm a man of my words. Since I've accepted this item from you, I'll naturally leave this lucky grass for you. However, you'll have to be fast. After all, there are quite a number of people who know that you're interested in this grass. Therefore, more people will come knocking on your door. Lin Fei smiled as he reminded Wang Yin. Of course, Wang Yin knew about this. I'll definitely come and look for you tonight. Lin Fei smiled. In that case, I wish us a happy cooperation. After all, I like to end things quickly. Who asked me to admire the items from the heaven-reaching tree? Within the Heavenly Reaching School, there was a huge stock of items from the Heavenly Reaching School. It was just that they weren't allowed to leave it outside. Who knew what the higher-ups were thinking? In any case, this item was really of little value. Even the Heavenly Reaching Apprenticeship Order was the same. It was completely useless. Wang Yin left without even finishing his tea. He already knew where Lin Fei resided and his name. Therefore, he would naturally be able to find Lin Fei. What he needed to do now was to gather the remaining 8 items from the heaven-reaching tree. He even felt that the more valuable the items, the better. Only then would the other party be willing to give this lucky grass to him. Although he had already taken 2 of the treasures from the heaven-reaching tree, he was still somewhat worried. Who knew if this kid had exchanged the lucky grass with someone else? Even if he did, Wang Yin would have nothing to say. After all, there were quite a number of big shots in the Heavenly Reaching School. Lin Fei slowly finished the pot of tea and walked out of the tea house. Lin Fei no longer planned to go to that street. After all, it was meaningless to go there. Therefore, he decided to take a stroll. After all, there were still many interesting places in the Heavenly Reaching City. After taking a stroll, he came to a very interesting place in the Heavenly Reaching City. Lin Fei had been to this place once, but he hadn't gone in to have a look. However, when he came here today, he found that many people had gone in. This was an octagonal tower. This octagonal tower was very tall. It actually had 100 floors. It was quite eye-catching in the Heavenly Reaching City. When he came here last time, Lin Fei had already noticed it. However, he didn't know the function of this octagonal tower. Today he found that it was actually open. I didn't expect that the Heavenly Reaching Tower would open again today. In any case, I have to go in and have a try. That's right. If he succeeds, he will become an outer disciple of Heaven's Reaching Church. If he can reach a certain floor, he will become an inner disciple. We can't miss such an opportunity. That's right. Chapter 4440. Standing next to him, Lin Fei heard it clearly. This octagonal tower was actually called the Tongtian Tower. There were a total of 100 levels, which sounded quite meaningful. According to those people, it seemed that one could join the Heaven's Reaching Church as long as he went up. Lin Fei really didn't know this news. After standing here and watching for a while, Lin Fei found that many people had come. Among them, some of the gods' favored ones who came with him also went in together. Lin Fei frowned slightly and realized that this was an opportunity. He even heard some people say that as long as they went up to a certain level, they could get rewards from the Tongtian Tower. This was a trial field for the disciples of the Heaven's Reaching Church, but it seemed that no one had been able to go up to the end. Lin Fei instantly became interested. No matter what, let's go in and have a look first. If he was lucky, he might have a big harvest. Lin Fei was quite confident in his strength. Therefore, he went in without saying anything. After Lin Fei entered the Tongtian Tower, another ordinary person came outside. That's right. This person was very ordinary, wearing the clothes of a disciple of the heavens reaching church. He appeared at the gate of the Tongtian Tower. He frowned slightly. Interesting, it's really interesting. Lin Fei, who was slapped by the heavenly lion, actually came to the heavens reaching church. Is he going to join the heavens reaching church? Fortunately, I have some means. Otherwise, I really can't catch up with him. The ordinary young man was a disciple of the heavens reaching church. Of course, he was not a real disciple, but a fake one. Of course, his impersonation was very good. This was his best skill, and his real identity was from the Dusk Tavern. This time he came to deal with Lin Fei. However, Lin Fei had joined the heavens reaching church, which made him realize that there was some trouble. Therefore, he could only keep an eye on Lin Fei. After all, the Dusk Tavern had an agreement with the 10 immortal sects, so he couldn't easily take action. Therefore, he didn't dare to take action. He just had to keep an eye on Lin Fei. Then he could naturally kill Lin Fei. He was quite confident about this. After Lin Fei entered the Tongtian Tower, he discovered that it was extremely wide and spacious. It was actually a huge space. This caused Lin Fei to feel slightly surprised. I didn't expect the Sky Reaching Church to have such a profound foundation. They even have a large-scale space treasure. No wonder this octagonal tower is called the Sky Reaching Tower. It does have a profound foundation. After arriving here, Lin Fei found that it was very lively inside. There were also many powerful auras. Just now, Lin Fei sensed the power of a few people at the peak of the Golden Core Realm. They were not in the hall, but upstairs. At that moment, Lin Fei saw what was happening in the Tower of Babel in the sky screen. Many monsters appeared in Tongtian Tower. If he wanted to enter the next floor, he would have to kill these monsters first. So far, the highest level was only the 10th level. It sounded very powerful. He was also a disciple of the heavens reaching church. However, he was defeated on the 11th floor and was sent out. Even so, he had gained a lot of benefits. Everyone saw it clearly. After walking around for a while, Lin Fei understood the situation. The Tower of Babel was indeed very meaningful. It was the trial ground of the heavens reaching church. It was said that the big shots of the heavens reaching church had refined it. The monsters inside were not ordinary monsters, but demonic creatures of the spiritual realm. Not only were they strong in defense, but they were also very powerful. They were very difficult to deal with. Such demonic creatures were very difficult to deal with. Lin Fei stood there and watched for a while, and he could tell. These demonic creatures indeed required great strength to be killed. Therefore, those who could break into the last dozens of floors were definitely very powerful. Lin Fei decided to give it a try, according to the rules set by the higher-ups. As long as he could break into the 20th floor, he could join the heavens reaching church and become an outer disciple. If he could break into the 40th floor, he would be an inner disciple. If he could break into the 60th floor, he would be a pro-disciple. As for the later floors, not everyone could break into them. So far, very few people had broken this record. The most powerful one had broken into the 90th floor. He was a real God's favored one. After joining the heavens reaching church, he directly became the son of the heavens reaching church. His strength also improved extremely fast. He had always been a legend in the heavens reaching church. Now he had become a giant in the spiritual realm. After that, no one had been able to break into the 90th floor. Only a few people could break into the 70th and 80th floors. Most of them stayed on the 40th and 50th floors. It could be seen that the disparity in strength was still a bit big. When Lin Fei was about to apply to break into the Tower of Babel, but a group of people came. This group of people was extremely powerful. Wherever they passed, people would avoid them. Lin Fei also stopped and heard a lot of people's words. I didn't expect this master to come. He is a great master at the peak of the Gold Core Realm. He is going to break into the Tower of Babel. Northern Heaven Immortal is sure to make a move. If he can break into the 70th and 80th floors, I'm afraid he will break a record of the heavens reaching church. It goes without saying that Northern Heaven Immortal is a junior, heavenly king of the younger generation. He can be ranked in the top 10. Lin Fei did not expect to meet a junior heavenly king here. After all, he had met a few junior heavenly kings down there last time. However, their strength was a bit weak. But the strength of Northern Heaven Immortal in front of him was really strong. His foundation was a bit deep and terrifying. No wonder the people around him were talking about him. As soon as Northern Heaven Immortal came, he caused a great sensation. Everyone looked at him. Obviously, they all knew about this junior heavenly king. Northern Heaven Immortal casually threw a few spirit stones and walked into the Tower of Babel. The person in charge of guarding the tower also had a smile on his face. Obviously, he also knew about Northern Heaven Immortal's ability. Then, everyone turned their attention to the sky, because they could see Northern Heaven Immortal's moves from the sky screen. As soon as Northern Heaven Immortal entered the tower, he immediately attacked. They did not expect him to be an expert in close combat. He bombarded these demons with his fists and basically killed them with one punch. He advanced by leaps and bounds. In just a short period of time, he had reached the 10th floor. It had only been a short period of time. Seeing this, everyone was stunned. Northern Heaven Immortal's strength is too strong. Killing the demons is so easy. I'm afraid he will break the record of the 90th floor. If he really breaks the record, our heavens reaching church will have another saint. You should know that it is not easy to be a saint now. Without some strength, one will not be qualified. I guess the saints of our heavens reaching church will feel the pressure again. Who doesn't know that becoming a saint will give them the opportunity to become the future sect leader of the heavens reaching church? Northern Heaven Immortal's speed was getting faster and faster. In a breath, he directly rushed to the 40th floor. God knew how many people were shocked. Chapter 44-41. The Northern Celestial Immortal was indeed very powerful, and there were almost no devils that could stop his footsteps. After reaching level 50, his speed started to slow down, but it still caused a huge commotion. At the very least, in Skysplit Tower, no one had been able to reach the 50th floor so quickly in a long time. This Northern Celestial was definitely the one with the most potential in the past few decades, or even centuries. After watching from the side for a while, Lin Fei had to admit that this Northern Celestial was indeed very strong. His close combat skills were especially strong, and he even cultivated a secret technique. He could buff his strength and explode with even more power. It was pure and domineering. Especially since these demons were close combat types, they really didn't have any advantage against Northern Celestial. No wonder he could easily pass level 50. Just as Lin Fei was about to go, another wave of people came. This group of people came in a menacing manner and caused quite a commotion. This was because this was also a minor Sky King. His influence wasn't any weaker than that Northern Celestial. This minor Sky King was called Ju Qin. Ju Qin wasn't a close combat expert. He was an expert at using transcendent artifacts. His transcendent artifact was nimble and agile. Furthermore, it was a crescent-shaped transcendent artifact. Like a ray of light, it struck the demonic creatures and instantly destroyed them. In a short time, it spread to level 30 and above. From the looks of it, his potential wasn't any weaker than that Northern Celestial. The appearance of two experts caused the entire heaven-reaching tower to become very lively. Lin Fei could even see quite a few people appearing on the upper floors, all of them praising him. The voice wasn't very loud, but Lin Fei heard it clearly. He had been worried that he would be too dazzling. Now it seemed like he really didn't need to worry. With Northern Celestial and Ju Qin here, what did it matter if he was a little dazzling? Of course, Lin Fei didn't plan on being too dazzling this time. His goal was just to get the treasure, and he didn't want too much attention. He would let Northern Celestial and Ju Qin enjoy the limelight. Just as Lin Fei was about to enter Sky-Split Tower, he suddenly frowned. However, he remained calm and collected. Just now, he felt a gaze fall on him, even though it was very obscure. Just a little. If it weren't for Lin Fei's quick reaction, he wouldn't have noticed it. Someone had their eyes on him. He stole a glance at him when no one was paying attention to him, and found that he was just an ordinary disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church. He couldn't help feeling puzzled. When did I become the target of the Heavenly Reaching Church? Logically speaking, this shouldn't be possible. Soon, Lin Fei sensed that this so-called disciple of the Heavens Reaching Church was a bit unusual. Others might not be able to tell. But Lin Fei could clearly sense that this disciple of Heaven's Reaching Church was definitely not a real disciple. He might be a fake one. This level was quite high. At the very least, no one present found it strange at all. I didn't offend anyone from the Heavenly Reaching Church, but this person pretended to be from the Heavenly Reaching Church and stared at me. Furthermore, there was a trace of killing intent. Could it be that someone hired an expert to deal with me? Lin Fei couldn't tell how strong the other party was. Clearly, the other party had used a treasure to seal his strength. This person was very strong. Lin Fei thought about it, and the only person who could target him was that Heavenly Lion Nascent Soul expert from Nanyun Prefecture. It wasn't that he didn't know where he found this expert from, but it seemed that this expert was quite strong. Lin Fei roughly guessed it, but he didn't think much of it. Anyway, this was the Heavenly Reaching Church, and the other party wouldn't dare to make a move even if they had 100 guts. After he finished challenging the Sky-Split Tower, the other party could only stare at him. Anyway, it was fine as long as he knew. Hence, after Lin Fei handed over the Spirit Stones, he entered the Sky-Split Tower. The ordinary young man who came in later was the one from before. He had already stared at Lin Fei. He was very proud of himself. After all, with his stalking method and his disguise, no one would notice him at all. Inside, it couldn't be any more ordinary. He had already found Lin Fei, and the only thing left was to find an opportunity. Lin Fei can really run. He actually ran into the Heavenly Reaching Church, and now he wants to challenge the Sky-Split Tower. Does he really think he's more powerful than these two little heavenly kings? This assassin from the Dusk Tavern knew how powerful the demonic creatures in the Sky-Split Tower were. It seemed easy, but once he encountered these demonic creatures, it wouldn't be so easy. He would most likely be eliminated. I want to see how many levels Lin Fei can pass. If he really thinks that he can compete with the two little heavenly kings just because he's at the peak of the Gold Core realm, he'll regret it. After Lin Fei entered the Sky-Split Tower, he didn't attract too much attention. After all, for such an ordinary person to enter the Sky-Split Tower, few people paid attention to him, especially at this time. Most people's eyes fell on Northern Heaven Immortal and Ju Qin. Both of them were little heavenly kings, and they were ranked at the top. After all, there were only 100 people who could become little heavenly kings in the spiritual realm, and any one of them was considered an outstanding person among the younger generation. Northern Heaven Immortal and Ju Qin were ranked in the top 50. They could be said to be the strongest among the younger generation. Therefore, everyone naturally paid attention to them. The elders in charge of the Sky-Split Tower also secretly paid attention to them. The Heavenly Reaching Church needed fresh blood, and Northern Heaven Immortal and Ju Qin were one of them. If they could pass through, it would be a great harvest for the Heavenly Reaching Church. As soon as Lin Fei came in, he found that there were other challengers besides him. They were all targeted by the demonic creatures, and as long as they killed a certain number of demonic creatures here, they could enter the next level. As soon as Lin Fei landed, a demonic creature pounced on him. There were 4 demonic creatures in all directions, and they were using their most instinctive means. However, their instinctive means were really strong. The corners of Lin Fei's mouth curled up, and he swept out with his sword. In an instant, the 4 demonic creatures that pounced on him were killed. Although these demonic creatures had strong defenses, they had a flaw, and that was that their scales couldn't cover their entire bodies. There would always be a gap. Lin Fei's sword swept through the gap and destroyed their physical bodies, killing them instantly. The first 10 levels weren't difficult for Lin Fei, and he easily passed through them. After reaching the 10th level, there were fewer people and more demonic creatures, and the pressure instantly increased. Lin Fei relied on his life-taking sword, and no demonic creature could get close to him. Entering the 10th level, entering the 20th level, entering the 30th level, entering the 40th level. Lin Fei's speed wasn't fast, nor was it slow. Although he couldn't compare to Northern Heaven Immortal and Ju Qin, many people's eyes lit up.